Okay, well, think of your I couldn't believe I know it was a Friday, and I'm thinking it might have been the Friday after they got
6:36 p.m., so we're a couple of minutes late starting, but I am going to call the meeting to order. First we're going to have a meeting of the Zoning Board of Adjustment, and then after that, immediately after that, we'll start the regular City Council meeting. And if you would all please stand for the invocation and pledges of allegiance. Lord God, we thank you that we live in a country where we can voice our opinions and where we can try to learn to govern ourselves and do the things that are right for the city and that are right for the citizens. Lord, we ask for your wisdom and your grace through this meeting, and we ask that you lead us to do the right thing and work your will. In Christ's precious name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. All right, the first thing on the Zoning Board of Adjustment agenda, you've taken care of items 1 through 3. Item number 4 is conduct a public hearing regarding a request by the owner agent of the property situated in the city of Van Alstyne, county of Grayson, state of Texas, being described as Hines HD Section 2, Lot 23, more commonly known as 198 Eccles, currently zoned Commercial District -2, in parentheses, C2, for a variance to the Van Alstyne Code of Ordinances, Section 46-68B, in parentheses. Construction yards, field offices, batching plants, and other temporary buildings to allow for a temporary office trailer not to exceed 18 months. Is there anyone here to speak on this issue? Yes, sir.
I'm the owner.
Yes, sir.
We just, our little business is housed out of that property, and we just run out of space. Intent is just a temporary office trailer to get our offices built. And also, I think we sent some diagrams. It's I think an 8 by 20-foot trailer that can be set in the backyard and will be enclosed. No bathrooms or anything like that. 2 offices.
Now, and you are building here in Van Alstyne?
Yes, sir.
Now, and you've been dealing with one of our groups here, EDC, I believe.
Yes, yes. They've been very, very helpful, but we have found a local property that closed our loan with the bank and anticipate probably January, February, being able to move our offices.
And where's your property, sir?
It is on Spence Road, where the daycare, we bought that property, and our building will be right next door on that same property.
Thank you very much, sir. Does anyone else wish to speak on the issue? Anyone? Well, we're going to move on to items for consideration, and it's the same. It's the same item. It's number 5, but for consideration. Consider and take any action necessary regarding the request by the owner agent of the property situated in the city of Van Alstyne, county of Grayson, state of Texas, being described as Hines, HD Section 2, Lot 23, more commonly known as 198 Eccles, currently zoned Commercial District or C2, Commercial District 2 or C2, for a variance to the Van Alstyne Code of Ordinances, Section 46-68B, construction yards, field offices, batching plants, and other temporary buildings to allow for a temporary office trailer not to exceed 18 months. Are there any comments or questions from the council? I'm seeing no hands. Do we have a motion? we have a motion to approve?
I'll
Is there a-
second.
All right, we have a second. All in favor? It is unanimous, so it is approved. All right, now that is the, and so we're going to adjourn the zoning board of adjustment meeting now. The time is 6:37, and we'll take up right away with the regular city council agenda. And the first thing, we call the order, and now I have some citizen communications. But you may just stand if you like, or you can come up to the front if you want. Mr. Clinton Murphy.
I have a handout, for the city council members about the process. Blocking the city in, so not a problem.
All right, okay, you didn't want to speak on the issue, just give us a handout? All right, so thank you, we'll all review. All right, and next is Mr. Joe Young.
Joe Young, y'all don't know, live down in Home Life. I had a little issue the other day with the mailbox. I got a police station from the emergency medical service. I've never got it done, I have never received it, I don't have to say that. And I will say that two boys give me a search that back, first, 20th, and 16th. So I got over here and tried to ask some questions related to Friday. And anyway, they told me, I went to an insurance company. Y'all had a billing company that sent out bills, is that right? Well, I can answer your question, but anyway. And y'all have changed insurance companies to two checks, that I know of, March 16 and May 2016. So I got them to hunt it up, working with the insurance company now, to get a new check issued. I called this collection agency, the lady in the office did, it's not gonna process, we're gonna be being late. So I just wondered if anybody else bring it for y'all, they may be some people in the house, like the same situation as I. I thought I'd give you, gonna tell you about it.
I'd like to ask you, now, will you double bills or?
No, sir, well, the lady talked to me, my main lady's gone. They were check sent, and it was over so many days, they got the check back, the insurance did. And then they sent another. They do not have the right billing company from y'all, from the city of Van Alstyne to send it to them. And they're trying to find out where they can get it processed and get some money.
You said insurance company cannot get a billing company. So it doesn't know where to send the check, they card?
Right now, as I know, I have a number 2 insurance lady, number 1, who is the Washington DC. But anyway, we're trying to get it resolved, so they can cut another check to get this bill paid. I don't know how many more out there like that. I just want to be aware of it, like they can pay, get the bill. Bank the bill has been paid, like I say, I didn't give one notice, not one notice. Just on the insurance company. Y'all, collecting rates, y'all used to have, you got me. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you. Tiffany Plum.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Plum, and I'd like to find out the status of my April 11th official complaint back to the city regarding Frank Baker's attitude towards me at the April 10th planning and zoning meeting. My complaint was for a derogatory tone that he took with me during that meeting. I filed the complaint the next night on the 11th at the city council meeting, and I had a typed complaint. I had to leave early, but I emailed the complaint to the city clerk the 12th the next morning. I also want to know what measures of correction were taken, if any, and if none were taken, why?
Julie, if I may ask, I believe that investigation is complete now.
Yes, sir.
And is it all right to go ahead and state the results as a fact?
It's not an agenda item.
Is it possible to have something like that emailed to the person that filed the complaint in the first place, or is that like secret among you guys?
Well, what's the official process? I mean, we can be clear about what the process is. If you're calling it closed, what does that mean? It got responded to the complainant, or?
Our response is to the city.
Okay. So you've closed it out and responded to the city?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What does the city normally do in this process? I'm not asking the attorney, I'm asking the city staff.
I believe, I don't know if you want anything aired in public here, or, but I think you can go to the city and get the results, because we have a result of the investigation.
So is it my responsibility to ask you guys for it, or don't you just, when you close it out, you just send it out and say, hey, this has been resolved, this is what happened, this is what we did? Is there some sort of a checklist that y'all follow, or what, how does that work? How do we know that it's been closed
I
as
think you should
someone
be-
who filed a complaint?
I believe you should be copied on the result.
I have not been copied on any.
All right, and if not, you can go into City Hall and talk with them about it, try to get the result from them. They should have it in writing. I believe the investigation is done, and so you should be able to get that.
My question was to the city, and wasn't specific to this. What is the normal process? If the city gets it, what does the city do? When we have a complaint, the attorney has replied, what does the city do?
It depends on what we're asked to do. If we're asked to investigate it ourselves, then we can do that and provide a written report. Now, in this case, there were two investigators, one from the city and one from the attorney's office, and they each sent written results into the city.
Okay, so the result is they've provided written responses to the complaint.
They have
Okay, that's what I wanted.
Is it protocol to send a written response to the complainant?
I don't know why not. We can send those to you.
But as citizens, we have to ask for that. We have to continue following up on that.
I don't remember whether at the bottom of the letters, the responses, whether it had copy to written from or not. It didn't, and probably wasn't sent out, but I see no reason we couldn't send it.
So could the city take a note to follow up with the citizen and provide her with that follow-up?
Yeah, I believe that was kind of in here too, in your agenda, to discuss kind of that protocol if there's a complaint.
Well, I don't know why we can't send it to you, so that's what we do.
So the city's going to follow up with her?
Yes, we'll send her the responses. All right, Sue Boyd.
I actually have a speech and we have some agenda items. So how do we do that? Do you want me to wait until the agenda items come up? I unfortunately put several things in.
Okay, well, yes, I suppose so, during the, let's see.
I mean, I don't want to get out of, of the procedure or anything like that because I've discussed so many things.
You know, actually, I'll tell you, we don't have much of an agenda on here for public comment. The next thing we're going to do is a consent agenda, and that's just for the council. And so is the rest. It's all for the council. So if you want to,
Under the non-consent?
you have the right to speak.
Under the non-consent?
Pardon me?
The non-consent agenda, regular agenda? Is that what J, our founders had 3 branches of government, and under J, I see that as the legislative branch into the judicial branch, and I believe that's selective enforcement, interfering in police matter, which are also illegal. The council is much like a CEO person, and it's a CEO that micromanages lower jobs is both ineffectual and wasteful. We have staff to run every day, kind of be in the trenches. We have PNC, we have board members, we have all kinds of stuff. And I think our city, we have people who are experts, the attorney and administrative law and others. And I see these people as bringing their knowledge to the council to help them, the council make an informed decision on what they do. There are some items in there I'd love to see implemented. And I think there's some good ideas. I think this call has some good ideas about stuff. We also have to still remember that we have a small staff and a small budget. And I'd love to see the staff and the council work together for information flow. There's some things in there also just due to constitutional and legal protections that I don't think can be done, and I'm concerned about those. I do agree that the social media that pushes information to the city is probably a good idea. And I applaud her for asserting that people and businesses should be treated with respect, but I also want the volunteers and city boards and our city staff to be given the same respect. In the past, it's been kind of open season on certain people to be ridiculed, and I don't think that does any good for anybody here on either side of the border. I urge everyone in our city government, paid, elected, or volunteer, to realize that we're in a place of relevance to the growth and perception of our city and those that live in it. You have a duty beyond your personal feelings. You voluntarily took on that duty, and in that position, you are seen as representing humanity. We, and I say it's me, I'm not speaking on behalf of anybody else, the citizens are tired of the bickering, the insult posed, the questioning, and most of what's in there is open data. In fact, I have stuff here that's on there, it's open data you can go on. I think we are most of them, I think most of them, just like myself, are tired of the drama, and I am. We're tired of name calling, half-truths, dissensions, and I think of the things that we could do if we all got together in a positive manner and worked together instead of against each other. We could do amazing things in the city. And I wanted to be directed in a positive manner. I want civil dialogue, sustained growth, and good jobs while keeping the heart of our city. And I stand here by myself, although my guess is many agree and are too afraid to speak out. I wonder why people a world away cannot get along and truly hate each other relative to some of the things that have gone on in our city. In many cases, it really is just shameful. Personal grudges, emotional reactions, and hate speech bring us all down. Once again, I say it's not right. And that stand has got me harassed in the past, and it might again, but I think that my city's worth standing up for. I challenge all here tonight to look past themselves and to make an effort for a positive influence on our town and everything that we hold sacred. It is up to you the steps you take, and I'm here and I'm willing to work with anyone who wants to make any positive change. I'll work on rewriting new statutes, I'll do anything whatsoever. But I really am, we really are all in Alstyne, and I'm really done with all this. I really am. I think most of the majority of people are here. So I implore you as city council members to take the duty that you stepped into voluntarily and do what's best for all of us, not just personally. Anyway, thank you for your time.
Next is Kimberly Kelly.
I'll go ahead and come up here since I'm being part of that. First of all, I want to welcome the new council members to the council. I've had a pleasure to serve in your seat. I think it's a wonderful position to be in, to be able to serve all these amazing people out here in the city that we all love, that's growing and is wonderful. Everyone in this room cares about Van Alstyne. We all care about Van Alstyne in different ways. There are things that we want to see or not see, and we elected all of you to be able to represent us regarding those things. One of the things that I wanted to talk about tonight, or the thing that I want to talk about tonight, is similar to Sue Lynn. I was concerned about what I saw on the agenda, and I felt like I wanted to say something about that. Because, for example, there are individuals that are always looking at a small growing town like ours to put their business in or expand their business into. And I'm concerned about agendas such as this and meetings that could be challenging, what that looks like to developers that are going to be watching the video on tonight's council meeting. Okay, I feel that we catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. But So what I wanted to say is council, you ran as council members because you wanted to make a difference. That's why everybody runs for council. You want to make the city better, and you want to represent the citizens well. The public voted for you for exactly the same reason. They want to make the city better, and they want you to represent us well. And again, for a lot of different reasons. No new council members come in knowing everything about the running of city government. Tenny Ann Salmon might be the exemption to that. She served on city councils a long time. But all of us are new. And so we need to remember that. Here's what I say to people in situations where they're new. You don't know what you don't know yet. You don't know the whys or the wherefores. So we have amazing individuals that we hire, and then such as Judy and Steve and Glenn, etc., city attorney. We hire individuals that have the expertise to help us as city council members know how to run the city. And we hire a city manager to be overseeing those individuals and the rest of the city staff. So basically, we're in a learning process from this point on tonight. I want to say one more thing. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes and I wrote kind of scribbles everywhere. So, our city is not perfect. Our city is just like every other city. We have our problems. We have infrastructure issues. We have aging issues. We have things that we've been able to work on and make progress on, and we have things that we haven't been able to make much progress on yet. So we're going to have to work hard to navigate our way forward because we're in a growth pattern now. And what we don't want is we don't want the growth to outpace what's happening here. And so we're going to all have to pull together really hard and be a very strong, united front to be able to work together to make this city everything it needs to be through that growth process. So I want you to imagine one more thing. I want to imagine that you are an employee and you have a brand new boss, which is what the council is in some regard. And you're in a corporate setting, and your brand new boss comes into your office or comes into a staff meeting and brings this agenda in there and says, I want all these things done in 30 days. Y'all get your act together because every one of these things is going to get done. How would you feel if you were that employee? I would be disheartened. I would be frustrated. So I just want to encourage us that we do the right thing for all the city, for the staff, and that we would be here to encourage each one of them, to call them up, to tell them what a phenomenal job you're doing. Judy, the library is completely amazing. Thank you so much. Steve, you managed that well issue. And gosh, we had water coming up from the south. Well, we can put that well down. And Georgetown might have complained a little bit about the taste of that water and the feel of that water, but we did it, right? We did it. We were able to do it. And it's like, we're just so thankful for you. It's like, Chief, thank you so very much. I don't see the fire department here, but you guys are award-winning, and we're so proud of you to have you here doing what you do day in, day out for our public safety. It's like, I can't think of any complaints against our fire, our EMTs, our courts, and our police department. I'm so thankful for them, and I think we should all give them an amazing round of applause. Thank you.
All right, so we'll continue now with a public hearing regarding the 2016 annual drinking water quality.
Good evening, Honorable Council, Honorable Mayor. We had to submit each year an annual drinking report. We have TCQ comes in once a year, takes a sample of our water and do a mineral test, hazardous chemical test. This year we passed flying colors. We had no violations in any sort. So if anybody got any questions, they will ask.
Thank you, Steve. So we'll move on now to a consent agenda. Item number 4 is consider and take any action necessary regarding minutes from the May 9th, 2017 Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting, May 9th, 2017 regular meeting, and the May 16th special call meeting. Item number 5, consider and take any action necessary regarding passage of a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign closing documents for the sale of the property located at 6. And so, would you prefer then that we take action on these one at a time, or on the whole list as a? Okay. All right. Now, item number 6 needs to come off of the consent agenda, and so that's going to be read during the regular non-consent agenda. Item number 7 on the consent agenda: consider and take any action necessary regarding awarding the contract for the Dallas Street water and sewer line replacement in the amount of $263,272.60 to the Dickerson Construction Company. And so that's everything that's on the consent agenda. Do we have any questions or comments from the council on those 3 items? Just to clarify, number 7, that is included.
Yes, sir. The project was budgeted for water, 100,000, sewer, 100,000. Those funds, the project is also eligible for impact fees up to $63,272.60. Funding due to its inclusion on the capital improvement plan. So the budget will take care of 200,000 of it, the rest will come out of the impact fees.
Any more questions or comments at this time? I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda, items number 4, 5, and 7. All right, we have a motion. Is there a second? Got a second? All in favor of approving items 4, 5, and 7 on the consent agenda? It is unanimous, and so those are approved. Now, we'll go back to item number 6, which came off the consent agenda, so there will be no discussion. Item number 6 is consider and take any action necessary regarding approval of the resolution of the City Council of the City of Van Alstyne, Texas, granting the petition of the owner of an area of land to annex the area into the City of Van Alstyne, setting the time, the dates, time, and place for the public hearings on the proposed annexation on the voluntary petition of owners for approximately 16.27 acres of land described on Exhibit A, generally located in the area south of Spence Road, east of Sanford Road, and west of Liberty Drive, authorizing the preparation of service plans and notification of property owners, railroads, and school districts, authorizing and directing the city clerk to publish notice of such public hearings, and establishing an effective date. Any questions or comments?
Mayor and council, you have 2 schedules. You have one that was provided within the packet, and you have another one on the table. The second one, the updated schedule, was talking with the requester. They wanted an accelerated time frame. We were able to provide that for them. However, it's going to require, either one will have to require cooperation with council. The regular time frame falls on regular meetings. The accelerated time frame will have to have special meetings to be able to facilitate the request. So that's the reason it was pulled off the consent agenda, is for if y'all are going to take action to specify which of the 2 schedules to follow.
One thing I noticed on the, and correct me if I'm wrong, but on the original that was submitted, it called for the first and second public hearings actually on the same day, whereas the updated version has the second and third public hearings on different dates, which I think is preferable. That's just me. Is there anything else? I was looking at another document that was more graphic.
Section 2.
Mayor, if I could clarify, it does have, both schedules have 2 annexation public hearings on the same evening. It's the zoning public hearing that is on different dates.
Oh, all right, that's my misunderstanding. That's incorrect. And so the resolution does call for, on the updated version, it calls for June 27th, 2017 at 6:30 p.m. for a public hearing, and June 27th, 2017 at 6:35 for a second. Wait a second. All right, that's June 27th.
Says with the zoning meetings.
All right, then.
It doesn't state
Just as a note, if you do the schedule that has special meetings, it will take 4 of you to be in attendance to have a quorum at a special called meeting. So if something happens and we have absences, it could cause delay because of the notice requirements that have to occur for the public hearing. That's another reason staff wanted to confirm availability for those special meeting dates before confirming a schedule.
Right now, the updated agenda, this is current. This is what, I mean, do we really have a choice, or is this the one that's on the table right now, the updated version?
You have a choice of which schedule you want to do. The applicant wants to be annexed by the city and they want their property to be zoned, and they are asking for that to occur as quickly as possible. You do have restraints because of the notice requirements that have to be met under law. So they're both fast schedules, but one is more aggressive than the other, and that is the one that has the special meeting dates.
Ours is in July. There's, I mean, in June. Theirs is July the 18th. So, and theirs has to be over 20 days before. Which would be on the 18th of July.
I think the public hearings on that schedule are in June.
27.
June 27th, and then after the public hearings, you have to wait 20 days before you can adopt an annexation ordinance. And so that has a special council meeting in July instead of waiting for the August meeting. Your regular July meeting would be too soon. It's not 20 days after the public hearings.
All right, and so first we have to adopt a resolution, I suppose, and then we have to decide whether we want to do the updated schedule or the first.
Well, the resolution has the dates of the public hearings. So you really need to decide which schedule first, because the resolution will then call the public hearings for the dates you decide you want the public hearings to be held on.
All right.
I'm good with the date. I mean, you travel a lot, so you need to check your schedule.
She can scout me on page.
Yes.
So this is some clarification. We're saying there's two schedules. It's the one that's outlined here, and then it just follows the regular meetings. The one that's in your packet originally follows the regular meetings. It's the one that they asked for a more aggressive schedule is the one that's on the packet.
So we're in July 27th.
All right. We have a motion to adopt the updated accelerated schedule. Is there a second? We have a second. Is there any more commentary, any more questions? All in favor? All right, it is unanimous. We're going to adopt the...
Mayor, we also need a second motion to approve the resolution itself.
All right. Any discussion on that? All right, we have a motion. A second to approve the resolution. We have a second. Any discussion? See no hands. All in favor? It is unanimous. Now, moving on to the regular agenda, item number 8. Presentation of awards of appreciation to Timberly Kelly, Billy Clegg, and Russell Moore. Please come forward. We want to thank these great councils. They've done a great job for us. We appreciate them very much. I know that you all support the new council, and we appreciate that too.
Jim, they say that I'm not sure. Better go back and clap some more, that was cool. How could we ever pose our picture?
Thanks once again. Let's say it now. Consider and take any action necessary regarding the appointment of a mayor pro tem. It's another thing Billy Clegg did for a long time, is serve as the mayor pro tem. But now we'll need another.
I'd like to recommend Teddy Ann Song. She's interested, experienced, and available.
All right, so we have a nomination. I'll second that nomination. Second. Now, are there any other nominations? All right, so we have a nomination of Teddy and Song. You all willing?
I guess I need to abstain. Yes, I will.
All right, then I think we have a motion.
I nominate Teddy Ann Kavanaugh.
All in favor of Teddy and Salmon as mayor pro tem? It is unanimous with Salmon abstaining. Thank you. Item number 10, consider and take any action necessary regarding approval of an ordinance establishing the sales tax structure established pursuant to election as it relates to street. And you all remember that this was on the ballot and it was overwhelmingly supported, and we all appreciate that. We need to approve the ordinance. We have a motion to approve the ordinance. We have a second. All in favor? It is unanimous. Item number 11, consider and take any action necessary regarding passage of a resolution, repealing resolution number 03-2014-01 and recognizing the Van Alstyne Sports Authority, or VASA, as a preferred league for youth sports in the city of Van Alstyne, Texas. This is a resolution. I think the new one reads just like the old one. It's just that it has to be renewed every year according to the contract.
As someone who serves on the Parks and Recreation Board, VASA is very active in the board. They're very active with their young people in their sports. They do the majority of the
I concur. Any other discussion this time?
What does preference mean?
Well, we're just, they're the ones that are going to run.
It's the league that would be in charge of the scheduling and the doing.
Oh, okay, that's what they mean by being a preferred.
Uh-huh.
That's what, I just want to make sure I understood what a preference meant.
You really
Shot
don't,
at the fields.
yes, you don't, you can't have three people at the same time, so they come, it's number one because they're the city's number one preferred choice.
Okay.
Because Bassett does, because Van Alstyne doesn't have Parks and Rec sports program, Bassett pretty much runs that. So they schedule the fields and schedule everything.
And they do a nice job maintaining these parks. With the slim budget that the city has, and the slim budget that gets passed on to Parks and Rec, Bassett does a good job of maintaining the ball fields. So it's a good deal for them, and it's a great deal for us. So is there a motion to approve the new ordinance?
Motion that we approve ordinance to replace the previous.
We have a motion, is there a second? We have a second, all in favor?
Wait a minute.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to ask for more discussion before I ask for the final vote anyways.
Yes, and I would like to explain something to the audience. In the past, we have been very hesitant to serve on a board of voting when this board came before the council, but I have the black and white written by Eric Turkey that even though I am the chairman of the Parks Board, we are an advisory committee, and therefore I am eligible to vote for anything that pertains to the Parks Department. Or somebody decide. I can.
Right. And so, any more discussion? All in favor? It is unanimous. Thank you once again. Item number 12, consider and take any action necessary regarding an agenda request from Suzanne Cole to review and consider the following administration items. And there are quite a number. I'm going to read these one at a time. And I suppose we can have some discussion on each and every one. Now, there may be some of these that are more appropriate for executive session, and I hope someone will remind me when we run across one that we need to consult our attorney over, or it's a personnel matter, any reason to take it into executive session rather than to discuss it openly. I'll start off with A. Proposed removal of decorum sheets at door for every city council meeting will be replaced with a sheet that explains how a council meeting works and when a citizen can contribute and have for July council meeting explain about allotted time for all citizen comments and needs for agenda items. All right, and I think everyone probably had a chance to look these over. Any commentary?
Yeah, I mean, since I put them all on there, I think you'd like to know why I put them on there. And the reason I'm here is that I actually believe in educating the public that's sitting out there, because I've been in that seat for 25 years. So finally getting up here, there were things that I brought along with me that I, wished that was more clear to me, because I know when you're sitting in that seat and you have to talk to this body, it can be very overwhelming, and you're not really certain of how, the agenda is carried out, when you get to talk, what you can do. So I believe a better educated audience makes for a better meeting for everybody. I think some of these came out of a lack of understanding of the audience and how they can participate in the meeting. I think instead of providing sheets that are a little bit more threatening, I consider them somewhat unwelcoming. So I really felt that I wanted to ask that we, institute a page that's a little bit more instructive for folks when they don't normally know how this operates, to tell them this is how we have to go about doing it, give the explanation of why we have to do it, because there's a lot of things where, we're bound by open meeting acts and all these types of things. But I really wanted to see that sheet go away, and I really wanted to ask that it be replaced with some much more welcoming, and that was something that I could have used, even though I've read a lot of this stuff before. It's still scary to sit up and talk in front of a bunch of people. So I really wanted to see a much more welcoming sheet at the front versus something that's, if you don't behave, you're going to ask them please to escort you out. So my motion was to ask that we replace that with something that's a little bit more educational, and that we provide a draft next time that sets us on that path to providing direction versus recourse.
Well, I think this is something worth discussing, but we won't have it for July. It could be discussed in July further.
These are on the consent agenda, so you can make a motion.
Yeah,
I'd like to make an addition to what she says.
Well, they're not on the consent. But anyway.
It's on the agenda. I think that there is an ample reason for both of those things, but there's another thing that needs to be added on that. And that is for items listed on the consent agenda, please request a council member to remove the item and place it on the regular agenda. Because a lot of people that come in here, they see something on a consent agenda, it's automatic, and nowhere on any of the papers does it say, if you will ask a council member to remove it from the non-consent to the consent, then we can go over it. But there's nothing on there that says that. And it really needs to be to inform the people when they come.
And my understanding of this was that the reason I put these items on here is because I frequently hear that, discussion. So I'm like, okay, great. I've made a list of items that I'd like to discuss, and either we go, yeah, sounds good, move on, or, gee, I'd have to think about it, and that's fine, and we can talk about it next time. But to me, I thought that was the purpose of this section. Let's talk about it. Let's do it, and let's make a decision. Either say, nah, I really have to think about it, or, yeah, it sounds good, or, no, I don't like it at all. But that was my understanding of what this section was about. I really would like to make a motion that we move forward with discontinuing the decor sheets and replacing with a draft that covers what I discussed, which is explaining how the process works, along with what Teddy May said about how the consent
And that would be a discussion we'll have to have. I don't think we have one ready for a July council meeting, but it's worth discussing. We have to see if we can get it drafted.
Mayor, the rules of quorum were established by resolution number 2, 2010-01, and the page may be removed at the direction of the body. However, the rules of decorum remain in effect until the resolution is repealed. Staff will seek council's direction on specifically what they desire the form to say, as the first page, as well as the agenda already addresses how and when citizens contribute and explains about allotted time for comments.
So the
So
motion is to be repealing
Yes,
that
ma'am.
one. And the second part is to talk about asking for a draft back of something, of a document to replace. And I'm only asking for a draft. I am not asking for a final document, I'm asking for a draft for July.
Well, I wonder about repealing this until we have something that's working.
Well, I think it worked a long time if I could get one sheets. So I don't think it's going to be,
It's on the sheet, we still won't put it ahead.
I don't want to be negative.
Mayor, if I may, a resolution has to be repealed or amended with another resolution because of the doctrine of equal dignity instead of just by a minute entry of a motion. But a draft resolution with a new sheet or proposed changes could come back so that you're either amending or repealing or modify, whatever the council's desire is to do with the 2010 resolution, but changing that would need to be by another resolution.
So it could be asking for a draft for replacement for next time, and then at that time, the agenda could be repeal of 2-2010-01 and either a replacement or further discussion on the replacement. Is
Yes,
that
you
what I'm
could do
hearing?
that.
Do I have to make a motion to do that?
You could make a motion to direct staff to bring a draft resolution and draft information
Okay.
sheet to the next.
So I was still
Whatever
right
council meeting
path
you
of
want.
saying, I'd like to make a motion to come back with a draft resolution for next time.
Second.
Executive special policy.
Put it on the agenda. So, we have a second. All right, we have a second on the motion.
Discussion. On the completely doing away with the visitor form sheet, does that take away the ability of this council, or when you have someone that's does that take away our ability to be able to ask that individual to leave, or legally speaking out? How are we able to enforce that if we don't have that?
Well, I don't think we want to accept that.
I think the draft discussion I'm asking
Pardon
for
me, I
is
was-
if the city manager thinks we need to still include that, which I think Teddy illustrated that, then I think he should come back and say, yes, we should still do that for that instance.
Okay, we'll give it direction, just let us.
Well, so, what Frank just read was the resolution set forth by the quorum. We can take the pages down, it's just a piece of paper on gold. But the rules of decorum still exist, unless we change the rules by referendum or we change the resolution with the resolution. Now, if you want a resolution to show everybody how it works and attach that to the front of the agenda, is that a resolution to attach how city council works, or is that just administration, we're just gonna add 2 pieces of paper to an agenda? I think real simple.
It depends, I mean, if you want it to be a written policy, you should do it by resolution. If you just want to give staff direction to prepare and implement something, you can do that as well.
That's all I'm asking for. I didn't know that there was an official resolution on the decorum. I just want
It's just a
information.
There's a resolution on how people should behave. There's not a resolution on paper, it's all paper, hang on. So we can take paper off and add 2 pieces of paper on the front of it. It's just an administrative deal. Down the road we go. Now we're not having to vote on a bunch of stuff and put a bunch of stuff in the law and everybody else will vote on it in 6 years from now. So let's just do that.
Answer the question. We're not going to, it's going to disallow us.
Can you talk a little louder?
Where is he?
Can't hear you, Brad.
Comments. So I'm saying on the door, would it be more prudent to maybe have some of that extra information actually at least take that good folks' hands maybe? I don't know if that was going to help out with if you should make those regular agenda, just have this in place.
That's a possibility, and I think we're going to charge staff with creating, drafting up, new sheets, new policies, new resolutions. I'm sure they would enjoy some input on what each of us, what any of us think it should look like. I think that would be helpful. All right, so we have a motion to present to council a different decorum sheet, different set of sheets at the beginning of the council. Is there a second? The resolution. Speak on it. All right. So, all right. Is any more discussion on the drafting of a new resolution? All Not seeing no hands. All in favor? Okay.
The resolution, move the resolution. Because if it's just an administrative, if it's just an administrative deal, then there's no reason to vote on it. I mean, it's two pieces of paper that say, you can stand up and talk now, don't talk now, this is the way we're going through it. You can ask, like Teddy said, you can ask the city council member to move it from this one to this one. That's just instruction.
I heard we had to vote to ask
No,
city staff to
we
do
have-
it.
I thought we could direct city staff.
I thought we had to vote to direct them. Because when I heard,
To put in the paper?
that's what I thought I heard.
What I understand is that maybe what Councilman Thomas is suggesting is to keep the rules of decorum and
Yes.
direct staff to produce, maybe rephrase the front sheet, produce additional explanatory documents
Correct.
as Ms. Kroll and Salma discussed,
Because I do not want to get rid of the.
rather than
rules of decorum.
review a resolution.
Yeah. The rules of decorum, I believe, need to stand. But in informing the people on how it works, I agree that needs to happen. We don't remove one for sake of the other. We can do both. We have to vote, sign and do a resolution to add to a piece of paper.
No, if you just want instructions for the citizens as to how what you have in place now works, you don't need a resolution for that.
There you go. All right.
Okay, and then it says right here, removal of form sheets, not remove rules of decorum.
Just the sheets. Which
Just the
are
sheets.
not even on the door right now.
The sheets is in
That's
place.
the one that we already took.
Replace it with another sheet. I mean, it's not changing the rules, it's just adding information.
Yes.
All right, so city staff is going to draft up changes. And we'll review it in July. Okay?
Did I hear we still had to vote?
Take the extra sheet specifically, want y'all to.
Yes, well, then they will, no doubt about it.
So do you want the motion to stand, or do you want to go with what Councilmember Thomas discussing
The
during the
motion
vote?
was not a resolution, the motion was just, I heard we had to vote to direct staff to put those educational pieces of paper together. It's not a resolution, I don't care about resolution, I just want some helpful papers in the building.
All right, well, whatever action is required, this agenda says we're supposed to take some action. What is the appropriate action?
I just asked, do I have to make a motion to ask the city manager to prepare a draft of those pieces of paper? If I don't, then.
If we do not implement the resolution, get this passed,
Good. Let's vote for it.
send the last meeting in this meeting and direct this documents to be added to.
All right. Okay, then we will rescind the motion.
If we don't meet the resolution.
Withdraw the motion. Withdraw it. That's the.
Okay, you want to withdraw the motion? All right.
Okay, city manager just told me that we needed to vote to direct him to draft some pages on providing instruction to how city council meetings work. That's what I was just told. My motion is to provide him the direction to please draft those for us for July. That's the motion. No resolutions.
I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor? Okay, we have four in favor. Mr. Thomas, are you opposed?
No, I'm good.
Okay, all right, so it's unanimous. All right, the second item, propose all email to council members should be done as a quote-unquote "to" and not as a blind carbon copy, so the members can see who received all correspondence effectively.
My reason for doing this, so for the discussion section, is that I understand it's trying to, I assume it's trying to alleviate and reply to all, which could have problems with the Open Meeting Act. Personally, I'd like to be held personally accountable, since I did take the training, that I understand about reply to all. For me, I'd like to know who received the email that I got. So I may be wrong about why you're having to send them that way, but at this point, I'd kind of like to know who's getting these emails that come through, because everything just says to Frank from Frank. That's all I get. So.
Perhaps that we have several emails that are sent that are general emails that we assume everybody gets, whether we're announcing a workshop, whether it's our agenda or things like this. No, some items would not be appropriate, but most of the, I think what Suzanne is talking about is things that are in general that, did you get the notice on the workshop? We don't know. So, were you able to pull, did you get all of this? And we know that everybody got sent the same thing, but not, the reply doesn't go only to the person who sent the email. Never look at that.
Yeah. And like I said, Frank, you may have reasons on why.
All the trainings and everything that I've received from legal and everybody else is that you're supposed to blind carbon copy council, so that way you're not constituted a walking form in any way, shape, or form. If any member of council chooses to hit reply all, then it's not just them that's in trouble, it's the person that instigated the communication. So
it is about the reply to all problem.
Julie, I think that TML would advise us to keep doing what we're doing, but what's your feeling?
We should always be conservative when it comes to avoiding anything that would be criminal violation of the Open Meetings Act.
There may be things that can go out, as Ms. Cole says, but, and those could be picked out for general purposes. I think just to avoid any conflicts, I think we're better off doing things as we've been doing. All right, so, any more discussion? All right, is there a motion on this item? Motion that we keep, one per copy for final legislation. Is there a second? It's on the agenda for action.
Wait, these are like session.
All right. Once again, I'll ask if there's a second. All right, so the motion fails for lack of a second. The third item, propose that only elected officials should be seated at the council table during council meetings to clarify that those elected positions, that those are elected positions versus staff. Discussion on this.
My issue on this is that I think it's more readily understood. I think that, staff from elected officials should be seated in appropriate places. I think it's best for both parties, which is why I brought it up. It's sometimes confusing with the city manager up here. So I really felt like, we needed to separate the elected legislative group from, our city staff. These are our day-to-day folks. These are the ones that do
agree. I don't think that anyone's confused. And I like having Frank here at my left because often he's able to advise me as we go through the meeting. And so, and as the head of the council, Mayor, I think that Frank should speak up for himself.
Mayor, you've been mayor for 2 years, I have all the confidence in the world. You need to make decisions and conduct the meeting. I know where this trial is coming from, and that all the council meetings that I have attending in other towns are, it's only the council that is at the council table. And usually, not the city administrator. And then, so, there's two sides to it.
Is there any further discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that I think the bodies should be separated.
There's a motion. Is there a second? Motion fails for lack of a second. Propose that all billings from the city attorney are categorized. Well, did you second the motion? You did second? All right, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor? I have 3 in favor. And all opposed? We have 2 opposed. All right, so the motion passes. Propose that all billings from the city attorney are categorized by case and/or administrative task to allow for a view of inception to date spend on said categories, starting with the July statement.
I discussed this with Julie already, just to make sure, what I was thinking, that she's following what I said. It really is, I did already do an Open Records Act to pull down the information, and it's very hard because it's a big block. So you really can't get any sense, and granted, as a citizen, there's so much redacted stuff, you can't get anything from it. But if you look at the total spend per month, there's no breakdown in there to say, okay, well, this much per spend is based on helping answer council questions, or this much is for any litigation. There's no breakout there. Hence, to me, it's harder to manage the spend. Let's say, I am now learning that I have the ability to call Julie forward if I so desire. But I think understanding that if there's an excessive amount of a category spend, that it allows us to sit there and notice that and watch the spending and make sure that it's efficient and effective. So I would like to make a motion that Julie can come up with some of the categories for what they can do, and that they could start to build based on those categories.
Mayor, if I may, I wrote down the current breakout and then maybe some other categories that could be established. I could get some feedback from you all on what might be helpful. That's great, Julie. Thank you. And I think these give good indications too. So, for example, for the audience, council member
inquiries was a category, along with large development projects, public information requests. I mean, if we have a lot of those coming through, we need to find out why we're getting a lot of them, because we obviously then have to pay the attorney to deal with those. Ordinances and resolutions, we know we've had things where we've had to refresh those. It's important to understand that, along with what Julie says they already do, municipal court prosecutions. Each lawsuit has a separate invoice, and then there's just a general bucket. So I've kind of asked for a little bit more breakdown on the general bucket.
All right, Julie, are you saying this is something you're prepared to do right now?
Yes, sir.
On a monthly basis?
Real quick, on the lawsuits, recoverable? I mean, I know we don't probably have a lot of lawsuits, recoverable.
Possibly. There are some causes of action where at the end you can ask for your attorney's fees. It's generally discretionary with the court.
Correct.
But we always do separate invoices for those in case that is an option, then they're available to present to the court in order to try and recover that cost.
Cool.
I don't know, if you're, Julie, if this is something you're willing to do, I don't know. Vote on this. This is- The invoices.
Yeah, I mean,
Each category.
I'm happy to.
Did you need to adopt this Do we need to adopt this procedure for the attorney to use?
You may as well make a record of it so everybody knows that.
Any attorneys group that we contract with, I'm not saying that we want to take away our contract with you, but we can require this. We can always demand that in the contract.
Yes, it's the client's choice.
So this is something that we can require now.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and so that's something she said she's going to do. If we want to make a record of the fact that we're demanding now,
I would like to make a motion, because I think it would be interesting to know just how many public information requests that we do get, how many of us are required to keep an attorney. I really think these are things that would help us probably to correct some things or to see where a weak point might be. So I will make a motion that we adopt this procedure for the attorney's report monthly, please. Yes, please consider.
do we have a motion on the second? Is there any more discussion? Seeing no hands, all in favor? All right, it is unanimous.
Mayor, I'm sorry, I didn't see who seconded the motion.
Propose the council be provided an overview of all outstanding current open litigation in which the city is involved prior to the July council meeting. That's something I think that should probably be done in executive session. Do you agree with that, Judy?
That, or we can,
Just
an email or written list.
Just an email.
Just an email, just so that everybody's aware of what's going on.
We could email a written list, and then if anybody has one that you want to discuss at a future meeting, you could ask staff to put it on for executive session.
All right, now that's something that, now, do you want to do that, Julie, or is the city staff going to provide that email?
Whichever you prefer.
Just fill it
All
out.
right. All right, so we have a motion.
I'll make the motion that this is done in order that the council members be aware of any action that is being taken at that time.
All right, since going to be a
And just for
monthly,
an email, and not as an email.
it's just going to be a monthly report. Fine.
I think we should be notified anytime there's a change. Because I hate to think we thought this was going on and we would find out it was settled or withdrawn. I think it'll need to be monthly because we're going to find out any public information requests regarding municipal court constitutions. All of this is a monthly thing, yes.
The number of lawsuits doesn't change very often.
But these other things,
One, I mean, you don't have much.
But the other items, she's saying.
Oh.
The public information, the ordinance resolution, council member inquiries, can that be, Tatiana, are you saying, can that be a part of a monthly report
Yes.
from the
yes.
city
And,
attorney?
no, the lawsuits don't change, but if they do, I think the council will be notified.
Yes, if there's ever a settlement or anything like that, that always goes on in executive session because the council would need to hear about that before any
Okay.
settlement would be agreed to.
Yeah.
And we're always going to have an attorney at an executive session.
If it's for legal, you're required to have an attorney. Yes.
Oh, and so I don't know if we need a motion on this or not.
I just gave
Is
you-
there
She just,
Do you need a motion?
Yes.
So what's the motion?
This information be provided to the council each month, that we receive an update on the things that change, which would be the inquiries, public information requests, ordinance resolutions, development projects, anytime there is a change, that we would be notified that month. If there's a lawsuit that has been dropped, there's no sense in reporting that every month. When it is, that the council be notified of it by email.
So this is an overview based on billing, which
Yes.
was in your letter D instead of, we're on E, I know, but we're going back to billing because E is just about outstanding current litigation, not public information request.
E is to say that we would like to.
Do you want the actual invoices?
This is the monthly report we get. Yeah, which is your monthly billing. Is it almost that we want the monthly billing information, Diane? That this report,
Almost, yes, some of that will change, some of it will not. The ones that will change, yes.
but if we've asked for this breakdown to be the monthly billing,
Yes.
we want to know
she
what the
said.
monthly billing is because it might change.
Yes.
You have to have every month. You have to have a resolution.
But we're
We
going
don't
back,
get the
we're
monthly
going back and
bill.
forth from DDE. Now, are you proposing that part of this monthly report from council include the status of any litigation that we're in?
I think we've asked for the billing to be done in these categories. I think Teddy Ann's pointing out that just because we ask for the billings to come that way, we don't actually see that as city council. So we'd like a monthly report so that we actually know as council if there are changes in these category spends. Am I saying that correctly, Teddy Ann? Because we don't get this.
All these public information requests that are given to our attorney, and they were given during the month. You know, if we have a lot of public inquiring to our attorney, I think it's important to know what their questions are and what we're not answering. They need to make these public information requests.
All right, now, we get a report on the number of public information requests. We get that from Jennifer at each council meeting. That's just a number.
And
You're
not-
asking for-
Not all of them come to my office, only if the Public Information Act has, obviously all information is subject to being released to the public unless an exception applies. Some exceptions are discretionary, but some exceptions are mandatory, where it's actually a criminal offense for you to release the information. However, even though it's a criminal offense for you to release the information, the request, along with the information that's responsive, still has to be sent to the Texas Attorney General for them to review and be sure that they agree that the information is subject to the exception and should not be released. And then it comes back and they say, yes, we agree, don't release it, or no, we don't agree, it's okay to go ahead and release. The city gets many requests where that never happens because none of the exceptions even come into play. The information is just given out. The only ones that my office sees are the ones that have to be sent to the Attorney General's office. And of those, you would see each one on the monthly invoice once it's separated out, and there's a separate invoice for Public Information Act requests.
Jennifer?
You said you had no problem with this being separated out.
Right. But so my question is, do you want the invoice to be your monthly summary, or do you want the invoice itself to be summarized in a separate list created of each one that our office processed?
I don't need to be onerous, I mean, because the city manager's getting this building, I can give the council advise upon this report, if there's something that we should be made aware of.
And whichever billing, this is my point, because we're asking the attorney to do a lot of things, and we're trying to get paid by the hour. So, love you to death, but whatever's easiest and fastest. That would be what I would say, because we're asking to bill in this invoice, which is great. I think that's great. That'll give us where she's spending most of her time, how we can address that. An email that Julie said she would already give us update of pending litigation right now. To be honest, I'm not sure I want that. I'll look at it, but I won't have to think about that one, because if there's privacy things in that litigation that we don't need to see, I trust her to handle it, and we'll deal with it. I will want to deal with it as it comes my direction. It's not something I want to dig into. And then after that, but that's just an email and a billing statement. Is there a need for a resolution on any of that?
You would not release privacy issues.
Yeah, no.
No.
I'm just asking, name of lawsuit, total amount, is what I was asking. What is our current litigation?
All right, hey, Mr. Chastain, what if on the invoice, just added a column that says the litigation is either pending, resolved, or some kind of a status like that? That's all you have to do, is just put a one-word thing to show
We could
whether it's
put it-
outstanding or whether it's no longer outstanding.
We could do that. The top of each invoice that's for litigation will have a ray line that has the name of the case. So we could just put in parentheses after the name of the case, pending or final result. If it's resolved, you'll be getting, it'll be a last invoice. You wouldn't continue to get invoices.
And that's to be included then in the categories that you have here in this monthly report.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, do we need to vote?
No, I think
Or anyone to provide?
we're done with, are we done with no action? He was just asking for the current litigation.
Well, is it the motion that you take that?
No, she said she'd send an email.
Yeah, she'll
Okay.
send us an email with that.
That I would go.
All right, motion is withdrawn. All right, next, propose that the city manager provide options prior to the July council meeting for customer service training for all front desk staff that would be appropriate to their requirements for serving the public.
And I bring this up, and let me be really clear here, no misunderstanding. This is in support of our city staff, because you can't hold employees accountable for things that maybe aren't part of their current job accountability. So for me, this is the start of a process to say, I'd like clarity around what their accountabilities are, and if they aren't there, then we need to get them training, but I feel it's very important that based on, the pressures that they're under in being the front face of Van Alstyne is to make sure that they have the right training and that they, have the skill sets in place to understand about customer service and how to deal with people that are really ticked off about their water bills and so on and so forth. So for me, it's really to get that clarity that do they have the job accountabilities for customer service? And do they have the skills they need? And if they don't, then we need to get them the proper customer service training so that they can handle the stress of being in the front desk. So this is very much in support of our staff that are having to be there. So it should never be misconstrued that I am criticizing our staff in any form or fashion. This is really about helping them be the best that they can be.
It's the city manager, it's the job to keep his staff trained. And I think, where do we stand on customer service training?
Mayor and council, city hall staff continually participates in training provided by TML. Be happy to share what training they have participated in this year to date in executive session.
And so this is being done. This getting customer service.
We have to participate, we have to provide that in executive session for confidentiality of each individual.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion that we can get that in our next executive session. Although I'm also asking why it has to be executive session since it's just about training for
Because
personnel.
it breaks out what each individual is trained in.
Is that privileged information to know what training staff takes? Well, I don't think all staff personnel is right. About what training classes you take?
About what's delegated to each person.
What do you mean when you say delegated? Their job responsibilities?
That's part of the question. You also want to know what training they've received, and that falls under the job descriptions.
And their job
and
descriptions.
delegations. Yes, ma'am.
And those things are confidential information. Your
If
job
we're going to
accountability.
talk about first about front desk staff specifically, yes, ma'am.
I can say this one more time. Understanding what the employees of the city of Van Alstyne, their job accountabilities, their job descriptions are confidential information.
About their job descriptions.
Their job descriptions and job accountabilities are privileged information.
No, you
confidential.
can request that information. But as far as discussing specific employees, front desk staff in an open forum, I'm not willing to do that. Julie,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts?
And I'm not saying to talk about each person. I'm talking about, a generic job description of city clerk requires X, Y, Z. Here's their job description and here's their accountabilities for training. You're saying, if we get to the point of saying, this role is this person and here's what they've done, that's when you're saying it's confidential.
I believe it needs to be discussed in executive session.
And I'd ask for that.
That is a personnel issue.
Well, you want to, I don't know where the discussion's going to go. You always want to be very mindful when you're discussing personnel in open session because you wouldn't want to say something or do something that, frankly, that an employee could use in bringing a claim against the city.
And I guess.
And I don't know how much. I think later on the agenda is a list of to discuss topics to review at an orientation workshop, and employment law is one of the ones that was going to
That's
suggest.
fine. I won't dig into that. Let's just do it in executive session. I'd like to know what the job descriptions are, and I'd like to know what training, customer service training it requires and where they're at on it. So executive session, that's fine.
Well, shall we move on?
Do we have to make a motion to direct city staff to do this?
Are you asking me?
Yes,
Not
sir.
legal? Sure.
Okay, so we need to make a motion that next executive session, we ask for the job descriptions, their training plans be provided, specifically around customer service. training. I made the motion.
All right, is there a second? I see no hands.
I will second it, because I will make the statement that I believe training is very important. And when you come into a business office, you want someone that is fully trained and has got a training program. Training program is essential to any job you go to. So if someone has one I don't know, I don't like to see one. Even on the council, we are required to take courses, the Open Meeting Act. We have requirements for our training, just like anyone else. So I think it's probably essential, so I'll second it.
All right, so we have a second, and some more discussion. Is there any more discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. Next item, propose the planning and zoning, propose that planning and zoning be required to have a comprehensive plan.
Skip G.
Did I skip one? All right. Oh, all right. Request confirmation that the city website be updated with council meeting agendas at the same time as the posting outside City Hall.
I think this is me just hearing confirmation about what that process is.
Jennifer, don't you do them pretty much simultaneously?
Yes, sir. That's not a problem. We approve most of them, right along with the package, whenever we send it out.
All right.
I do have a comment I want to add to that. There are a lot of people that go by City Hall and they read their bulletin board. And I don't know whose job it is to remove it, but I know that the Proposition 1 and 2 information for the election was still there the first of this month. And if we're going to do something, we need to do it on a regular basis and have it always available.
Then we move on to H, propose the planning and zoning be required to have a comprehensive plan, zoning map, and the current zoning map available at all meetings for citizens to view and reference. We're talking about planning and zoning meetings, not all meetings. Is that right?
Well, I'd really love to extend it to council. If there's at any point when we're going to talk about zoning or a specific property within the city limits, to me, it's a no-brainer to have available at the meeting for the public, put the zoning map up, stick a push pin on the property that we're going to talk about, so it's right there for everybody to look at. Because I've been to too many meetings where it just, you spend 5 minutes bantering back and forth about, that's over there by, oh man, what's this place, and this kind of stuff. So I'd much rather just put the thing up in front of the meetings and have it readily. But I think we need to be able to, I will make the motion that we direct city staff to please ask PPC to have that available at the meetings for the public.
And you do have this projector too.
We can also do that.
There won't be any pushback. Well, we have a motion and a second.
was happy with just the printed one, but if you can put it up on there, great. Something that people could go up and look at. It might be hard if it was behind you for people to walk up and look at it, so.
That's what she said. So that's good. That's good. It's just P and Z meeting. So we have a motion. Is there a second? All right. So Mr. Jasper seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. Next, propose that the city manager, starting at the July council meeting, provide a monthly report as part of the staff report section of the meeting and advise on all topics raised by citizens, businesses, and staff for the prior month.
I'll go ahead and remove this. I know Frank's not on there, the city manager's report. I think for me, it was just to share sort of my expectations of what I would like to be able to hear from that report, which is, specific details of what's going on in the environment. But I don't think there's any motion for it. It's more to, sort of introduce, what I would like to hear.
All right, so that one's gone. Next is propose the council receive notification prior to all citations to residents and/or businesses where the citation could be perceived as onerous. It would always be proactive in addressing citizen feedback and/or revising ordinances that may need revision.
Just to be clear on this one, it is not to circumvent any rules or cause any favoritism whatsoever. What I'm asking for here is that if there are particular issues where it's more of a process, not a legal citation, and I'm talking about non-legal citations, that we've had instances where we have done things to particular businesses and so on and so forth, where I think it might have been more appropriate to allow the city and council to discuss those issues first, because there have been times when the ordinances have been the root cause of the problem. And I think we could have maybe dealt with those a little bit more proactively. I am asking that if that is the case, you may tell me that no, absolutely isn't an opportunity to be proactive, but I guess I'm just questioning at this point if there's not a process that allows us to be a little bit more proactive. We're a small town. We are trying to step into the bridges of big, complex rules operation, and I think we have to be a little bit more manageable and amenable with some of the laws, not the laws, the ordinances and the fire codes and all these myriad things that we're having to throw into. Is there something that we can do to be a lot more proactive versus telling people they have to vacate premises?
What is a non-legal citation?
Well, I know as CEO, I guess that's my question. On a certificate of occupancy, if it's not an issue about safety, why are we asking somebody to vacate the premises in hours or days? When really, to me, the root cause of the problem is that we have simple ordinances that need to be written. And we could have dealt with that versus, causing issues with, citizens getting upset, banter going back and forth, and making businesses upset. So could we have done that in a much more diplomatic?
So you're talking about citations here. Are what you're saying is on the denials of COs, is that what you want to see?
The particular instance I'm talking about was the one from Wall Street. So it wasn't a denial of the CO, it was saying the wrong CO. So I really just didn't see that there was any reason in that particular one where there was anything about safety. There was no violation of the law. It was, we've done our paperwork and we think it's the wrong CO. I'm like, okay, yeah, it is. Do we need to ask them to vacate the premises? No. Could we have fixed what we did end up doing within a month? Could we have done that? Yes.
I think the executive branch of government, of our governments here at any level, they provide a legal basis on which the executive branch acts. And I don't think that the legislative branch has any business telling the executive branch how to enforce the laws that the legislative branch has created. I don't think we should interfere.
I'm not talking about laws. I'm asking about a process. And do we have people out here? So I'm not talking about breaking any laws. Or
Is it the
interpreting
procedural
laws.
question?
It's a procedural question. And I think I stated that several times. This is a procedural question. Are there opportunities that we can work around versus operating to what we think is the cross the T, dot the I?
I'm sorry. But the procedure is based on law. Because even though it's based on an ordinance, the certificate of occupancy, doesn't matter what type of business it is, the state of Texas says you cannot fully occupy that building without a CO. That is the law. Not just an ordinance.
But she has CO, that's the problem.
Okay, then there is other factors.
Correct.
Right, there are other factors. If you have a CO, you can occupy with temporary CO. You can operate with a CO with conditions. It all goes on a case-by-case basis after the ordinance, which would be the law, which would be the certificate of occupancy, is enforced. So it would have to be a case-by-case basis. Now, what you're saying here is more open-ended, saying that you won't be notified of any citations before they're written. So, all right, so can we strike this and just maybe put it in the next agenda that we discuss how we do building inspections or the building department works?
If that's where the issue is, yes. And I don't have a solution. Mine is more of a question of how did we get to that point, and was there no way around it?
Okay, but we're talking about we're talking about Tiffany's, we're talking about Tiffany's instance. On a brand new council that I have no idea about, but based on the proposal, there's a good chance that Tay's gonna make a motion that we're gonna vote on that really doesn't make any sense to me. So, or we're just making it.
No, I like what you were suggesting.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay, cool.
There is an appeals process, not sure.
Yeah, there always is a appeals process, doesn't matter what time.
So, what did you say again about how this one, because I don't want it to die on the vine again, so how?
Then either you or I will email Frank with, hey, can you put this on the agenda for next month? We want to talk about how building inspections and the building process works.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've already talked about having a workshop, it would be a workshop topic.
Okay. That
Yeah,
would be
it could be
fine.
one of the training workshop orientation items to learn how that department works.
Okay, cool.
That would be fine.
All right, the next one. Propose that new residence section of the city website be renamed to just quote-unquote residents, since there's no section addressing current residents. I don't know if anybody really matters anyone whether it says new resident or just resident on the
Well, it's up to
website.
me personally. I'm a resident, I'm not a new resident.
All right,
And I
so-
really like what has been done with the website. I think it's fabulous.
Are you
So
making a motion then?
I do want to discuss and say that I think the website is very good. I did, however, notice when I was looking around through it, I was like, well, there's nothing here for residents. And when I broke into the detail of what new residents said, I was like, oh, well, this applies to anyone. So my comment is, can we just change it to resident? I think residents are just as important as new residents. So that was my discussion. If I have to make a motion to direct city staff to do that, since I'm getting educated that that's what I need to do each time, then that's what do I need to make a motion to ask that?
It's not a problem if you'd like to make a motion.
I do not want to make a motion. I just keep trying to find out how I get things done around here, Frank. So
Depends on the
as
action.
long as you guys tell me what I need to do to make it official, then that's what I'm going to do. So good.
The next one. All right, and so we're agreeing.
Yep.
Propose that all city staff be barred from making any public negative statements about any citizen or business. We are here to help citizens, not admonish them. My first question would be, what do you define as a negative statement? It's a statement of facts. Is it a statement of facts? I mean, we're not going to name call.
I don't think, and I don't know about, where I work, you are never to represent your customers in a negative. You should not be making personal comments about citizens or businesses in these instances in a public forum. So barred was a little strong, but what I'm trying to say is that if it's not already been dealt with, city staff should not be making personal commentary on the citizens or businesses in this town. So if it wasn't understood, I think we need to make sure that it is understood by city staff going forward.
I want to tell you a little bit further than that. I understand your company, you can't misrepresent clients and everything else. That's just basic salesmanship. I've got the same thing at my company. But you can't keep people from talking. That's just the First Amendment. That's freedom of speech. We have that. Very proud of that. I served for that. I fought for that. So freedom of speech, people can say whatever the heck they want to say. That's the repercussions that happen to people after they say what they want to say. That happens. That Natalie Maines badmouthed the president, the Dixie Chicks didn't sell any more records. But you can't stop freedom of speech. You can deal with, people can deal with the repercussions, but you can't stop freedom of speech.
And this is not about freedom of speech. This is about when you work for somebody, and I'm sure we all have this, you do not make personal comments in public spaces that have to deal with your company and its relationships.
They can't.
So I don't think whether it is true or not, you don't ever call a citizen or a business a liar in a public forum. It's a
On the city website.
Freedom of speech is you can say anything anywhere.
And there are repercussions.
And there are repercussions for that.
My point is there should be repercussions if you're an employee.
Then that is the way it needs to be said. Not
Okay,
we're barring
that's fine.
people, we're barring people from saying what they want to say.
I'm saying there should be repercussions. Firstly, they should understand that they should not do it if they feel that it's all important for them to utilize their First Amendment right. There may be repercussions with their employment, which we all have.
I don't think that you're looking at this correctly. You're acting as if it's a personal statement. And if you're referring to the statement of fact provided to the citizens on October 2016,
I am not referring to
the statement was provided at the suggestion of council and with legal review. It was not a negative statement about a citizen or a business, rather a factual timeline of events to dispel rampant rumors. If referring to a statement of fact provided to the citizens on April of 2017, the statement was provided to dispute the statements made by KXI and was not negative about any citizen or business. That being said, statements of fact are not provided unless reviewed by legal and at the direction and suggestion of council. It starts at the top.
I guess my point, Frank, is that when I sit there and read on a public website that anybody in the city has called anybody a liar, I'm like, whoa, that just doesn't occur. And I can't believe that any legal statement would say, oh yeah, it's okay for you to call that person a liar.
I would ask you to go back and read it because it doesn't call any one person a liar. It says that what is stated is a lie, and there's a difference.
I heard myself the word lie. So I guess I have to go back. Yeah, we did too. It says liar is the word, not lie.
Somebody's gone in and modified it because that is.
No. And you know what? That's what you're signing.
Liar, and then you lie about it.
That's fine. We'll work that out.
Yes,
Because the word I'm looking at is liar, which is not the same as lie. So that's fine.
Yes,
We'll go back and check it out.
But,
It shouldn't be on there anyway.
but this is just, when we're talking about this,
Yes.
Okay.
And I still stand by the fact that there's the specifics that we're questioning, and we'll go check that out. But I think either way, I think my point is still valid, just to make sure that if that's already in place, this is a non-issue. But I think it does need to be clear.
All right, so reading
This
this
can be
again.
up for next discussion. We can take it, I'll remove it for now, get the particulars, and we'll discuss it out actually. What he said liar. So, but
All right, you sound more something.
I read this in a different light, and apparently what one needed that if I employ you, and someone comes in and wants to be helped, you don't give negative statements. You don't say negative things about the people that you're working for when you're working on their dime. So that's how I thought this was, because when you're at work and someone comes in, you need to be courteous, you need to try to be helpful, and you don't need to make all of these negative statements, which really turns people off. Even though you personally don't agree with it, if it's the city policy, or if that's what you're required to do, I took it as with one of you and Rob, everybody should do that because this is what they're required to do. Nobody wants to say you have a store and you have items to sell. You do not want a salesperson that's going to say, well, I don't think you ought to buy that, that's ugly, or don't put it on, or this sort of thing. So I think I thought what you did was that employees have a positive attitude toward the customers when they come in, or any other. Yes. So, and I
think certainly we'll start from that. And so I'm not sure what kind of motion we really need here.
there's no motion.
I don't know. Okay. Next, request that all council members be provided a microphone. The council people used to have. I think, what's the plan? Frankie, we do that.
Well, it's an unbudgeted expense, so if the council wants, we can obtain quotes, direction to the body. This is something to vote on because it does affect funds.
Okay, fair enough.
So what happened to the microphones we used to have?
They don't work.
Oh, they
They haven't worked for years.
5 microphones we had.
And so, we have a motion to direct the city council, or the city rather.
Second.
All in favor? All right, it is unanimous. All right, propose the city manager put in place the proper cross-training with front desk staff to make certain any citizen requests can be handled at all times.
I think this can be bundled with the training request we had earlier. The purpose of this one is to make sure that, I know I've run into issues where when you come in, somebody's on lunch and the other person can't handle whatever was required. So I would like to know too that, those types of issues, that there's cross-training available.
Okay, well, currently, unfortunately, it's not feasible. We're unable to cross-train people on all aspects of permitting, planning, development, utility billing. Currently, we utilize many third parties to fully execute permitting, planning, and development functions of the city, as we do not have and cannot afford to have engineers, fire inspectors, or building inspectors on staff and available. Permitting, planning, and development, utility billing, community center rental, accounts payable, accounts receivable, payroll, human resources, records retention, et cetera. All those tasks are currently covered, and we have staff that are wearing multiple hats. We can get in further into it in executive session. However, with the current staff we have, we need to bring on new people to train them in their current roles to be able to send them out and get them cross-trained. So it's not feasible right now because you're talking about a lunch issue or somebody's out on sick or vacation. If we're going to be sending people out for weeks at a time for training to be cross-trained, we need people in those roles to be able to take care of the business of the city. So it's something we're going to grow into, but right now it's not feasible. It's something we can discuss during budget and look at the cost.
And I guess my problem, Frank, is that I hear what you're saying and I understand the difficulty, but when I'm Joe Smith, citizen, and I walk in the door and I hear I can't, I sure don't like hearing I can't. So I think there needs to be some sort of way to communicate that without saying, I can't do that, they're not here. It doesn't come across as well, so is there something we could come up with that's, maybe this goes back to customer service again.
Sure.
It's our delivery of that message. So we got to come up with some better way of explaining that when people come in the door to say, I'm so sorry, something. It just comes across as we're not capable.
Okay.
And we are capable.
And we can discuss that further.
It's the message.
Yes, ma'am. And I don't believe that they're saying I can, but we can discuss that further. Okay?
Like I said, it's that nuance of that customer service delivery, and I think sometimes it's just understanding that nuance so that when somebody comes in, they don't feel like they're just out of line.
True.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of asking for. I think that rolls into then the other question about training.
We can discuss that further in executive session.
So I'm not making a motion down there. I'm just saying to roll it into the other cross-training discussion.
I can. We're agreeing to move on. Propose the city manager provide next steps on enacting an electronic bulletin board on the city website that allows for feedback and conversation between the city and its citizens.
This is another one of those unbudgeted expenses. If it's something y'all like to do.
Can we understand, I think, how much that is? Because to me, you've gotten awards for transparency and stuff. To me, this is the ultimate in transparency. There's just too much going on in town anymore through Facebook. I think we need to nip a lot of this in the bud and get ahead of it as a citizenry and look at it. So let's at least sit there and find out how much is that cost so that we don't have to rely on social venues for all of the news and what's going on.
We'll start getting those.
Make a motion. Get better. I'd like to make a motion that the city manager come back to us in July with, I don't want to say specific quotes, some conceptual.
Yes. I'll try and come back with it in July.
Okay, it's up to you. I'm
So, and
by August.
I think Julie will have to weigh in on this because there's been, I don't know that you can converse with citizens. My understanding is it had to be a closed loop for just council members.
No, that's wrong.
I just did my OMA training and I made my little notes,
Julie, I think
so.
the question is yours.
We'll include a summary of that with the information that comes back to the council on the electronic message boards.
Because they also gave the example of the city of Austin, council message board was one she listed on there to take a look at as a sample or template of how.
It was
could
passed by the
operate.
83rd legislative session. At the same time, they did Skype. See that same
So
bill.
who would be charged with monitoring? Because I've seen commentary that is on Facebook. If we asked, who would be in charge? Who has the time to monitor something?
Nobody else has. It's something that y'all would do. We wouldn't.
Just the council?
Yeah, we're not at the board.
I mean, obviously with something like this, there needs to be we need to have training about how to utilize it appropriately. But I think this is the future, and I think we should definitely look at it.
Okay.
And like I said, I think the big problem is cities having to rely on Facebook for information. So I think we should start at least looking at it and be receptive to it in that move. Oh, I made the motion.
Any more discussion? All right, all in favor? Okay, it's unanimous.
Could I ask just a follow-up question on the motion? Would you like included in the information some sample social media policies from other cities? Normally when there's an electronic communication forum, we generally recommend that you also adopt a social media policy along with it. That's pretty common practice.
And I think that should be in Frank's sort of overall proposal to us of, yeah, there's one thing about the monetary issue of setting it up, but, you gotta take these into account with your policies, your procedures.
First thing I have to do is really on how to get the scope of work, and see the policy so that we can bid it to the appropriate people that can meet that scope of work. Usually do the prices for us.
She's coming up with policy. She'll come up with policy.
Yeah, I know, but she's gonna give that to you. You're the man.
She should be responsible. She should know. She works with me, she doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
So is that resolved?
We made the proposal and we got a second and
All right.
we passed it.
All right, all in favor?
We already voted.
All right, here we go. Propose that council, at the July council meeting, is updated on any automatic raise clauses that might be in any staff employment contracts. I don't believe we have it.
And I'm not asking for the answer right now, I just would like to know at some point if that's something that we can get an answer to.
You should come in. I would like to, and I will be placing it on the agenda for next month. I think it's important that the council review all city contracts at least once a year, not every other year. Bring them up to date, to see what needs to be changed, and this sort of thing. So I think what we need most, and I will present it for a council, for an agenda item next month, is that we review all city contracts. Not only would we be familiar with it, but you can't update something if you don't review it on a regular basis.
So Tatiana, is this something that we could, I think we're starting to build a discussion at a work session. Is that something that we do then, or we can only do these at
This is not,
executive
we're not
sessions?
doing anything for employees. This is not something we're going to discuss how someone does their job or all of that. This is for the contracts, and our contracts are public. This is public information. When the city signs a contract, whether it's with an engineer or no matter who it is, or an attorney, we need to review these, be familiar with them. And I see no reason why that cannot be done at a council meeting so that everybody is aware of what the city contracts are.
Okay, so we just remove this one, and then you're gonna come up with something at the next meeting to propose?
I just think we should review contracts on a regular basis. And you do it before budget time.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. I'm just trying to look at the action that we want to take. I agree with what you're saying, and that kind of covers what I was bringing. But if you're going to bring an agenda item next time around, we'll just move on with this one and take no action? Is that okay?
That's fine. I think yes.
Okay. Okay. We can go on.
Request the council is updated on the assistant attorney assistant city attorney staff role, job description, when the role was approved, how much the position is to be paid, and the role's current status. Now, we don't, I think we had someone we called an assistant city attorney, but we no longer have that person. I don't think I don't know of any plans to try to hire or reinstate an assistant city staff or assistant city attorney.
Just want to know the organizational chart, where each one of us got that when we ran for city council, I have a copy of it, so it's been deleted in the last couple of months. It was in your packet.
It's on the chart. That's where I found out about it. I didn't even know it existed.
It's provided in the packet.
Yes.
So there's a person exactly that's gonna stick on all the
Now, currently it's vacated.
But our
There's no intention
assistant
to fill
city
it.
attorney was under the
Okay.
city manager, not the attorney.
So Frank just said there was no
It's
plans to fill it.
been vacated, no intention to fill the position at this time.
Okay. So that's the status of Q. Going away. Okay. I have no issues with that. I think it's gone.
Next, request an update on the process for building the monthly council agenda.
Staff and legal advise the city clerk throughout the month of items that need to be placed on upcoming agendas for council consideration. Also is requests such as zoning text amendments, zoning petitions, annexations, variance requests. The city clerk ensures the appropriate notifications are done, places the request on the next available meeting agenda. The week before each meeting, a draft agenda is created. Once the agenda request submittal deadline of noon Wednesday is passed, the city clerk sends the draft agenda to the mayor and city attorney for review. Once returned, the city manager provides a draft to mayor and council, and the mayor, city manager, and city clerk work with legal and other department heads to prepare the agenda packet provided to council on Friday prior to the Tuesday meeting. The agenda is posted on marquee in front of City Hall and online Friday as well.
So as far as what I did this time, I mean, any council member can just send to you for inclusion in the agenda?
Yes, it will be reviewed by the mayor. It's the mayor's agenda.
It was the mayor's agenda. Okay, so send to you, send to the mayor,
Send to the
one and
mayor.
the same? Okay. Do we get something back to know whether we get to be on the agenda or?
Well, I thought I told you I received the email.
No, you did,
Yeah.
because I asked. I'm just asking, that's why I'm saying, what is the formal process? So send it, and then it's at mayor's discretion about what's going to go on, it's not. Okay, and then we find out when the draft agenda comes out, whether it's going on.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Okay, thank you. And item S, by the way, I think we're already talking about training plans. We don't need to go over this.
Then move on to item number 13. Consider and take any action necessary regarding an agenda request from Susan Kroll proposing that City Council publicly make a statement supporting all its local businesses and that we encourage all city staff, where it makes sense, to frequent our local businesses. I ask that all department heads communicate our support to all staff.
And this is not a directive to the employees that they have to utilize city or businesses within the city. This is a statement. The city council supports its local businesses, and we encourage people to shop locally and utilize the local businesses. That's what this is about. It's a statement of support of shopping locally.
Good, 'cause I support the funeral home, but I don't want to use it home.
So not to misconstrue that we are directing anybody that they have to use the, XYZ or that funeral home. But I think it's important that we, from a marketing perspective, is that we start to make statements about how much we support our local businesses, shop locally. There's a lot of marketing, campaigns that are out there with cities that say, shop locally, support locally. I think we really need to time with that type of a statement. And it starts here with this body to say, you know, it's important for the growth of the city to say that we support our local businesses and to shop locally. I don't know if that's something that we can pass down and share that jointly between the CDC, EDC, whatever might be a good campaign along with Chamber of Commerce. I think it's something important, but I think that the city council should make a statement that we'd really like to see that joint support. And if there's a campaign that we can do, I think it would be important. I think my motion is to say that we would, it's about the support of local businesses.
You know, at the close of each of these meetings, there's an opportunity for each of the councilmen and myself to make any statement we want, and especially statements like this. So that's already in the agenda.
I think it's more than just the statement. I don't know if it's to the point of asking some coordinated effort between CDC, EDC, and a marketing campaign of some sort. But my point was is that the statement comes from here to start with. I don't know what specific opportunities there are, Frank, for doing something like that and encouraging the shop local type of campaign.
You might want to check with the Chamber of Commerce and see the EDC and see what they want to do. I mean, you're free to do that. You're free to go in there and talk with them.
Well, I was asking the city manager about that, so I thought that's my prerogative to
So
do
you,
that.
I mean, so you want me to look for programs that support shop
And I
local?
probably am asking for your guidance on what can and can't be done. I mean, when those types of campaigns work, you know, that you see those types of campaigns, what were they doing to get those initiated? Is that something that we can reasonably do and encourage, or is it, you know, too complex for us?
Okay.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, consider and take any action necessary regarding an agenda request from Suzanne Cole proposing the city manager to provide a calendar to council advising on periodic visits to local businesses and civic organizations throughout the year with the goal of gathering feedback on how the city can best support its citizens. We would like to see a draft of the business survey to be sent to all businesses for the July city council meeting. You know, to me, this sounds like city council. It doesn't, this is political. I don't think that we should mandate that our staff make certain visits or keep log or calendars. I think it's the politicians' jobs to go to these businesses and talk to them and get feedback. I don't want to put that on staff. I think that's busy work.
Well, I don't really think it's busy work. I think, to me, it was sort of an expectation on the monthly report that, you know, what is the city manager role doing? And what we, you know, if we're making a statement about supporting our businesses and our citizens, what is the engagement that the city manager is doing on a regular basis to promote the city and how we assist our businesses and our citizens to be good citizens.
The city manager is not a political animal.
This isn't a political
We
issue.
hired him to run the city staff and the city's departments. That would, he's not supposed to be out of politics. That's our job.
I don't see this as a political issue at all. To me, this is promoting the city and what it does, because the city staff is here to serve the citizenry. So I didn't see it as a political request at all.
But any of the CDC and the CDC and Patty, I need your help on this one. Can you
I
hear me?
think what we're talking about is a high profile needed in this town to make a show of concern about the merchants that are here and that we're here to support you, and if you have any problems, let us know. Now, I don't think it's one person's job. I think it's all of our jobs. Everybody sitting here, I think it is your job to make sure that the people know that if they have a complaint, they can come to us. If you have a problem, let us know.
But it's also the subcommittees as well, like the
Right.
Parks Committee.
Everything,
advises
the
on
Parks
parks
Committee,
and-
these, you know, it's like this, all of our boards have open meetings if you have a problem, but you need to know that you are welcome to voice that. Nobody's going down your throat or your phrases. But, I think we need a high profile of the people here, so that you know that we really care when we need this table, not just when we sit.
Well, I think
And
it
that's
was,
all of us, not just council, that's our department heads. I know I see, well, I don't see a lot of Steve. He needs a secretary. He's probably got back there. But we see our librarian out, we see our chief of police out, we see other people out. I think this is important for them to know that we're out, we're supporting them, we're supporting you as well as you are supporting us.
and to me, it's a coordinated, and that's why I guess I'm speaking to Frank specifically, is it's a positive point, it's a coordinated effort to say, you know, what have we done to reach out, you know, this month? I mean, obviously with Judy with the library, there's all kinds of civic activities going on. You know, of course, Steve is always stuck with telling us what's broken, but.
I'm waiting for you to see what you say Chief Barnes does.
We don't want to see him. But I think it's that joint coordination and that funneling up to this venue to be able to say, you know, this is how we interacted for the month and promoted the city and how we can help folks be better citizens.
I don't think it stops with just that. I think that, I know what I'm doing. I don't want to get up real early, but I do, but I don't want to get up. But for instance, the Friends of the Library breakfast, I think we should all, not alone here, go to the Friends of the Library breakfast. I think we should go to every chamber, 4th of July. I think the fall draw. I think it's important that we have a high profile in this town. We are elected officials to support the people. We are supposed to support the people. And to me, that is every month there is something. Every grand opening, every special, or just get out. Simple.
Thank you. Because we put on forums and nobody shows up. We bring in
Yeah.
people, we have forums and we have everybody from all of it, they come, we have 10 or 15 speakers and what, 5 people show up. I mean, there are people out here that are doing stuff with the chamber and other stuff, but we have those periodically. And we have people from the chamber, we have people from the college, we have people wherever else. And we're lucky to get 10 people show up. And normally, half of them are just people putting it on. I mean, I'm not blaming the public, but at the same time, the public has to make an effort as well. Because they're publicized, they're out there, they're going, and, you know, we show up and half the people there are the people putting it on.
And all those people are high profile. She did an example.
Okay, in light of moving forward, yeah.
Who are we proposing to order to go out and make these visits and keep this law?
I don't think we're proposing to order anyone.
Little brown, three.
And to set an example.
So maybe there is no action at this point. I just think it's important at some point that we try and figure out how to have that coordinated effort, but there's no action on it.
All right, next, consider and take any action necessary regarding an agenda request from Suzanne Cole requesting an update from the Planning and Zoning Commission about designating truck routes within the city. That's pretty
Yeah, I think it comes from us to go ahead and ask them, and I would really like to ask that they come back to us about designated truck routes. There's been several issues I know in the past year that have come up. And last time I talked to Jim Atchison, he said there were no designated truck routes. So I'm like, okay, I think it's time for us to deal with designated truck routes. So if it requires making a motion, ask P&Z to address truck routes, that's what I'm making a motion for.
Legal's got something to say, I've got something to say as well. Staff will discuss truck routes with P&Z. However, the commission recently recommended an amendment to the truck route. Council didn't take any action on the recommendation. What you have, Jim?
Well, they're charged with the land use related items, and I guess you could maybe tie driving on the streets to land use, but it's not really something under their purview or
So who
authority
has the
to
purview of
consider.
looking at truck routes? Because I know it's kind of designated in the comprehensive plan. So are we back to the whole comprehensive plan discussion? Because we need to address the truck routes.
To the council.
Okay. And something came before council and we took no action? Or was, I guess I want to.
I can provide you that.
Okay. Okay.
I'll have to.
Okay.
As to that, the item that came before the council it was a good idea, except there was one really bad element to it, and that's why the council took no action. It was a motion, there was no second, because at one intersection in particular, it was a really bad idea. And so that's why.
But that's one intersection.
I'll get you facts on it.
Okay, that's fine. And then, and I'll take a look at it and decide whether I bring it up again, unless anybody else had any other comments on it.
There's some healthy discussion.
Okay, good.
Consider taking any action necessary regarding the agenda design for requesting an update on the overview and status of the proposed bike path with the intention of updating all new council and get them up to speed. Ben, is that something you plan to do anyway?
I can do that. Do you want to know about phase one or phase two?
Both.
Both?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, you're welcome to do it now, or we can wait until it's, well, go ahead, and then you'll have less talking.
I pull together a calendar of events as they happen, so I'm ready to talk about it now. Then, Frank, do you have a copy? Did we get a copy of this? Anyway, going back in 2015, this is for phase one. This is the plan currently under design, soon to be under construction, from the high school to North Park, down parallel to Highway 5.
This is the one that starts in September.
This one starts at the high school and goes to,
The work on it starts in this September.
it gets lit in September, which means it gets bid in September by TxDOT. By the time TxDOT goes through all the gyrations, it'll probably start construction January or thereabouts. There was a call for projects in January 2015 for projects on the Transportation Alternative Program. We were directed by council to submit. It was an 80-20 match, federal dollars and state dollars to city dollars. The council did a resolution of support in May of 2015, and the application was submitted. There was a second call in October for non-rural or for non-urban, which means less than 5,000, and we were awarded on that application in December of 2015. In March of 2016, the advanced funding agreement was forwarded to the city for signature, which dedicates the duties and funding of everybody on the bike trail. There was in the following, let's see, that was March of 2016, March 31st, the city put out a request for qualifications for the design and construction and advertised on June 3rd and on July 24th requests for qualifications were received. The council, on July 12th, the council reviewed the applications and made a recommendation of award for the design contract. On July 13th, the advance funding agreement was signed by the city manager and forwarded to TxDOT. We received back from TxDOT on the end of July. Within the design contracts were signed in January of 2017. Survey started in February. 30% schematics were submitted to TxDOT and the route in February, at the end of February 2017. The environmental document was submitted in April of 2017, and June 1st of this year, just a couple weeks ago, the 90% plans were submitted to TxDOT for final review. We expect to get comments on the final environmental document and the design documents in the next couple of weeks, because July 5th, everything has to be wrapped up and sent to the district office in Paris. And then they will authorize advertisement in August by the city. Bids will be taken in September, and then through the paperwork process, January, the construction start. That's phase one. You know, it's from the high school. It's a 12-foot trail from the north property line of the high school through the Spence property, across the middle school property, in front of the Buckner property and GCEC, and then through North Park to the edge of Dallas Street.
And this will be a 12-foot wide trail
Yes.
on the west side of Highway 5, right?
It's on the west side of Highway 5.
So that sort of widens out the front of GCEC.
In front of the Buckner property and GCEC, it's in the right-of-way of Highway 5. It's squeezed in there. And then
Will it be by the highway?
there's, I think there's 8 or so feet between the shoulder and the edge of the trail. So there's,
So if there's the road 8 feet and 12 more feet, if I got that correct?
the shoulder of the road, the driving lane is another 12 feet inside of that. Where the painted stripe, there's 12 foot of shoulder, there's 8 foot of no man's land. Then there's,
Drainage.
the drainage is being handled on the trail in those properties because it's so tight. And then there's 12 foot of trail adjacent to those properties. But that's just there. On the school properties, we have a 40 to 50 foot easement where the trail will meander. And on the Spence property, they've agreed to a 25 foot easement for most of that property, except at the corner of Spence Road where it has to bubble out to get away from the utilities. And it gets up to 40 feet wide, I think, right there.
That's not occupied. What and my questions was, when you start taking that much space off the front of GCEC building, won't that put this within a few feet of their front?
No, we're out in the TxDOT right away. We're not encroaching on GCEC's property at all.
But to have their things right
Do we have a visual of this at any point? Where do we see this?
I did supply one to the Parks Board last month. I can supply that again.
Please.
Okay.
Yes, never seen.
Okay. I might have one.
Okay, and Lynn, you have an electronic copy you can send out?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do. I can do that. Then phase 2.
Well, 1 second. What is the purpose of this trail? Because I just thought, oh yeah, this is great. You know, your kid can get on it, take a bike, and go from school to school. But it says Transportation Alternatives Program. What is that?
Non-motorized vehicle access in the city is what it's for. So pedestrians, bikes, So, and it's an 80-20 grant.
I caught the money thing
Well,
from you. I got the
and the money- and
excitement
the money-
there.
Well, and basically, and so far, in the city's commitment on that is about $170,000 for a $1 million trade.
Okay.
So it's even better than 80-20 right now.
And it's being split, who's paying for it? Whose
The
budget's
federal
paying for it?
government, the federal government is,
No, I meant the city.
Oh, the
What
city?
about the federal government?
CDC, EDC, and the city.
yeah.
So 170 is split three ways.
3 ways, right. One city, one's 33% city, 33% EDC, 33% CDC.
Now, the other thing that always ends up happening, and I'm skipping out, is that we get these great parks type things. Is there gonna be maintenance again? Because that is not our strong suit. Are we gonna be having to maintain anything, do anything? Is that who does this trail belong to?
The trail will belong to the city, but it'd be like a sidewalk on adjacent to private property. So the property, according to property code, the property owners will be responsible for edging and maintenance on it.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, we need to be real clear on that right now.
So the school district, the school district has been in full favor of this. They're looking forward to it. They are.
How much do they have of it?
They have about 80% of it.
Do they?
Yes.
Okay, so when I get the visual, I'm gonna see that.
Yeah.
Okay, because that is our failing, is we get these things and then we can't maintain them. So,
I have another question. I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
You've got phase 2. There can be as many as 7 phases of this. There can be as many as we want.
Right.
But right now, the one you're talking about is phase 1, phase 2, and then it all winds up on Dallas Street.
Well,
Right? That's for phase 3.
and that's part.
And when you go down Dallas Street and you put a 12-foot wide walking path,
that's
do
the
you
street.
realize that would put almost in some front door?
Well, and that's where.
How many of those people have been notified that this is in the works?
Don't know.
That's phase 3.
No.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, this gets us to North Park. The phase 1 does. Phase 2, well, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Other questions on phase 1 at this point? I mean.
That sounds like the thing was going.
Okay, and part of the application was to provide that alternate path to get the kids from the middle school, from town to the middle school and to the high school. That, that was part of the award and why they did that. Phase 2, TxDOT, in January of this year, TxDOT put out an call for projects for what they call, they've changed it, that was the Transportation Alternative Program. Now it's called the Set Aside Program. It's the same bucket of federal money and state money, it's just called something different again. The previous application before the TAP program, the alternative program, was the enhancement program. So this is your change the name on your application, but it's the same basic guidelines, 80-20. There was a workshop for applications back in February at the Paris District Office. In May, the City Council made a resolution of support, and we submitted the application in May 21st, the day before the deadline. TxDOT will make a determination on projects that will be funded in the future on that in September, October timeframe. So once we hear whether or not we got the award or not, then it brings up the question. And phase 2 is from North Park down Dallas Street to Van Alstyne Parkway. So we're starting the template for what you want to do on Dallas Parkway or on Dallas Street. And there's a couple ideas, and we have to flesh all that out with you before.
There are only 2 ideas, and that's 2 paths, one on each side of the road that are 6 feet or 1 12-foot one. Is that not correct?
Well, that's right, but how those 2 paths on either side of the road are set up can determine what you want Dallas Street to look like in the future. If you put them where your future gutters will be, once you go urban section, you can have that and make it a future street curb and gutter.
So picking the street's already set though?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I mean, our application for this go-around is there to continue the process, to keep it continuous. The Parks Board, this Thursday night, will be giving an update on they're talking about doing a master plan. And last month, we gave them we have the original trail plan that we did back in 2013. Trail plans are to connect public places and parks. So it connects the high school, North Park, goes all the way down to Forest Park, and the route that was chosen was Dallas Street to keep it off of Waco. Which, you don't want that traffic mix. But then the other, the difficulties also are getting out 121 towards East Park. So there's some issues. And we're have a parks consultant come in and give them ideas on that Thursday about trail plans and master park plans.
To me, putting the cart before the horse, you should have your master park plan, and then, instead of putting a trail through it, and then doing what deciding how you're going to do a park, you should decide what is going to be in that park, because when you put that path back, be just in the middle of where you would like a parking lot, or you would not like a street, or because the plans have never been made for North Park.
Well, and that's why we're going along the edge of North Park. There's going to be a trail or access along Highway 5 there. North Park itself will become its own entity and will survive, evolve into what it will be in the park's planning stage, but having a trail on the edge of it doesn't really affect the overall.
It will go all the way down 5, then to Dallas Street.
It stops at the south property line, near the south, right past Memorial Park for right now. I mean, that's the...
Right behind the Scout.
Yeah, right near the Scout is about where it is right now. And that was just a
But doesn't that go right through, if it's at the Scout Hut, you've got to come up Gray's Trail and around to get to that Scout Hut?
No, I'm saying it stays along Highway 5 there. It crosses Grady's Trail and goes around the Memorial Park right now. I mean, that's the phase one.
But what you're electronically going to send is going to have that little diagram?
Yep. And then phase 2, and again, there's, I think it's $54 million in this money available for an 80-20 match. And Sam and I, the park for the North Park and the trail system is one thing, but we don't control when an 80-20 match is available. So, in 2015, council decided to take a chance at it. We were successful in getting it. So, yes, we'd like to have it all planned out, but those sections we pretty well know. High school to North Park is easy because it's a pretty clean section to try to plan. Getting in, going through town, whether it goes through down Dallas Street or Bergdorf, that will have to be a discussion point, and we can do that.
Ask a question. You said the property owners, the ones that this goes by their houses, they will have to maintain that?
Well, it all depends on what that's to be discussed too. If it is an urban section with a curb and gutter, then like you mow your bar ditch now, all the way out to the edge of the pavement. The configuration is really nebulous right now, but here's where it is, and then you'll have to get down to details, and the council obviously will have to
They
approve.
wouldn't have to, would they have to maintain the path itself, or
No,
just the
no,
grass?
no, the path itself.
Okay.
Well, is that being protected? I mean, they come in Highway 5, it's that close to Highway 5. Is that protected, or could they come in later and expand Highway 5 and take all of that?
Well, the only place that's close to Highway 5 is in front of the Buckner property and GCEC. that will be protected by guardrail right now. If they come in and widen Highway 5, all,
You can't come in and just.
yeah, no, because that property is so tight right now, if there's any expansion, it's a
You have to be on the
100
other
foot, it's a
side.
100 foot right away, they'd have to go on the other side. So,
And that's my only concern is the tie to talking about the comprehensive plan is, where do we talk about just thoroughfares? Because we know we're starting to get
well, and Grayson County just approved the vendor to do the comprehensive thoroughfare plan for Grayson County with input from the city of Alstyne last week. They've gone through the selection process. They made their selection. They're in the process of negotiating the contract. We will be in direct contact. I spent 4 days with the vendor and the Grayson County engineer last week talking, because we've already out in the EPJ on some of this development that's coming in. Grayson County has a different thoroughfare plan than what the city has, so we're working through those issues on the back of the napkin right now. After Grayson County gets this contract underway, we'll be able to have the input on the thoroughfare plan. And right now, you talk about the comprehensive plan, there's always one here, but, and if anybody hasn't seen this, this is in volume 1. This is what we call the yellow map. This is your land use plan and thoroughfare plan on one. These are where the ultimate streets are supposed to be going, and this is basically how we do development. If it's got a thick line here,
But that's the 2003.
that's the last
Yeah,
one.
that's
The last one of record.
That's right. And we're a lot different than 2003.
Well, you're not, again, you're not a lot different in the outskirts. You're a lot different downtown.
Right.
So,
Yes, and we need to think about the outskirts.
and that's next week's workshop.
Okay.
But that's it. Any other questions on bike trails or thoroughfare plans? Because we've got both of those. Those are both pending.
All right, consider and take any action necessary regarding the agenda request from Suzanne Cole requesting an update on the upcoming update to the comprehensive plan, when it was last done and by who, and when we are required to update. We just talked a little bit about that. The last one was done in 2002. I think the law doesn't require us to do it at all, but it is a good idea. And it needs to be done. I think it's recommended that it's done every 5 years or so, but of course we haven't done that. But it's something that we're going to start this calendar year, working on doing.
Well, yeah, and I guess, so we know it's 2003. And it's been a while, and we're looking at, Frank, you advised that council decided to do certain segments, so the CBD discussion's coming up. And
Yes, ma'am. So CBD
industrial.
and industrial park are the two chunks to bite off and take care of right now. And then thoroughfare plan, trying to do it with county monies instead of city monies.
That was my big question was the thoroughfare, because I'm kind of like, we need to start talking about traffic. That helps us then talk about industrial and CBD. So will we get, if we're going to be giving our thoughts on CBD and industrial park, we won't have thoroughfare information for that interview, or we will?
You'll have it. I mean, Lynn and Scott and Kelsey will be there, so they'll have the information.
Will we be able to get it before they're going to interview us on our opinions? Because to me, the traffic flow is going to sit there and dictate the opinion on what we think should be happening with CBD.
Well, and just so you're, the traffic flows through the CBD are 5, 1.1, through basically. Those are TxDOT governed roadways. So we're at TxDOT's mercy on that. So, I mean, their truck volumes and what they plan to do, what we're trying to do, what Scott and Kelsey do, is plan around those obstacles, knowing that they're permanent obstacles unless they pick up Highway 5 and move it, reroute it somewhere else.
Do we have no input into that whatsoever? Because obviously you can't widen 121 going through CBD. I mean, that's the size it's gonna be unless you start, eminent domain, I'm gonna tear down these buildings. Highway 5, we've heard so many conversations about that forever. Do we get input? I mean, that's the process you're going through right now? Do we get to say, I mean, I know we've been able to comment when they've come up with plans, that one that they were gonna do through Anna, where it was just gonna be this enormous 6-lane, monstrosity.
And that's still in the ultimate plan, Highway 5 is a 6-lane thoroughfare.
All the way through
Well-
Alstyne, they didn't say. It stopped just at the city limits.
What 2003 did was provide a couplet, which basically means they split Highway 5 on Waco Street and it shows it on Dallas Street. So they have one southbound on Dallas and northbound on Waco.
That's what I'm interested in
Yeah.
knowing, is that you have options then to talk about what
They
you
lose
do.
when you go through a downtown, kind of like Plano did.
Right, so it's,
15th
well, it's
Street.
like McKinney did, right?
Yeah, like McKinney does that on
Tennessee
Louisiana and Virginia.
Virginia, correct.
Yeah.
But then that would impact you on your bike path too, because
Oh.
Dallas is not that wide.
Well, Dallas is as wide as Waco Street is. They're both 80-foot
Really?
driveways.
I am amazed. Certain section of it seems mighty squeezy. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
the church drainage becomes a major issue out here at
Okay.
Jefferson. So,
Okay.
yeah, all that stuff has to be considered, but that is, yeah, I mean, we are putting together concepts for the Dallas Street Trail,
Yeah.
and we've been talking with the MPO, the
Right.
Sherman Denison MPO, when they prioritize projects, we're talking about when Highway 5 starts raising to the top, that's when we have our input. The mayor, Frank, and I attend those meetings to make sure that
Will
we don't get
your-
blindsided.
Will we get some sort of input from you then before we have our discussion with them?
I can send you an electronic copy of the third plan.
Yeah, because to me, I don't know how we comment
What
on
I've
those
sent on the
things without
links.
knowing the plan.
What I've sent on the links are the plan that's on the website, the link to the plan on the website, book A and book B. I can send out the third for, I
Okay.
don't think that's contained in there.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further on that?
Yes, well, we do meet on June 22nd, every day when planning, but it's not an open meeting, it's, because we just, answering questions to council members at a time. But we will be starting on that, and it is far down in the industrial part.
All right, so we'll move on. Next is consider and take any action necessary regarding an agenda request from Suzanne Cole requesting an update on the current situation with the Van Alstyne Sports Court, Bassett, and light bulb replacements and irrigation at our farms. And I suppose should we go to Steve for that? Steve, do you have any answers for that?
And Steve, just so you know, I just heard too many stories floating around, so I'd rather just put it on
Okay.
the agenda and hear.
No problem. Myself and Bassett have worked together for the last 5 years. The light bulbs has been an agreement with, since Gary Evans, that they furnish the light bulbs. And I got an email from Mark Swift that I sent out day before yesterday, stating that they still want to take care of the light bulbs on all the fields. So they've been doing it in the past. They had GCEC furnishing the manpower, they furnish the lights. They assist the city in a lot of endeavors, as Katie Ann can advise for us. We work with the small budget I have and the small budget they have. We blend them as much as we can and try to get the most cooperation out of each other. As far as the irrigation, in this year's 2017-2018 budget for engineering, the fourth bore irrigation system, nobody knows where it's at. So all we do is fix it whenever the water shows up. All right, in 2017 and 2018, proposed budget is engineering study designed for all three parts, according to field two. So there'd be a design, and then it'd be up to the city council to see when we want to fund the actual installation of the irrigation system. As far as the current situation with Bass in the city, like I said, we worked together for the last 5 years. As you see, we just, since 2015, we've been pushing this agreement through, working with Bass, agreeing to what we could do, what we would do, and what they would do. And we finally completed with this year. So, I mean, it's been a work in progress.
So there is an agreement in place now about what the accountabilities are?
Yes, it's actually got a flow chart.
Okay. Well, that clears up some, because I heard there wasn't an accountability. So good, thank you.
I want to add a comment to that too. When you think of light bulbs and you say Vasa furnishes light bulbs, don't think of light bulbs. They spent $3,000 just on the light bulbs to go in our parks.
And that's pretty significant. So I guess that's why I wanted to make sure there really wasn't an understanding. Now, the problem is if people are still putting in grass when we don't know where the irrigation
Well,
is.
we just passed part of
Oh,
that
we-
understanding tonight.
Okay, good. So
Is
we're
that
all
correct?
clear on that.
Correct.
Yes, the agreement states that any development or any maintenance, exorbitant maintenance must be approved by the city first.
Okay, and what about the plumbing then when it doesn't work? Because I'm kind of like going, boy, you definitely need to
Well-
have oversight, but I understand about budgetary constraints, so how
And
is
you have
that?
people take the sledgehammer to the mows and torch paper with concrete. I had extremely high vandalism. We actually had the wire pour out of East Park from the telephone pole. It was hot when they cut it. We had plumbing pouring off the wall. We had doors kicked in. Right now I've got a commode at Portmore that's been knocked off the pedestal, so we're back out there. So the vandals this year brand new slides and everything we put out there was already vandalized before we got the gyms installed.
We have cameras that we can use.
We are looking at cameras, yes.
Okay.
And now, there were vandals that were caught, and your parents did have to pay to replace what they vandalized. But the cameras were probably, I hope they have.
So there's clarity and comfort then between VASA, parks, and everybody. Okay, that's awesome. Thank you.
Further on that. Number 19, consider and take any action necessary regarding scheduling a special work session with City Council to cover training/orientation or employment laws, open meeting and executive session planning and zoning, involvement in citations, and determine other topics council would like covered at a special work session. And I think we're talking about July for that session. And Julie, you could play a large part in that. And then in the end, Lynn, you too, I mean, your instruction.
Tell me what subjects I need to be prepared for.
In the end, we'll kind of start to segue into the budget, which we'll take up in August. We'll start budget workshops in August. As many as we need to go through the budget bill.
I want to add something to that we have an open workshop. And that means that not only are we becoming acquainted with the procedures, but there were people who come and also become acquainted with the procedures. Because the best thing is for everyone to be informed. So it would be an open workshop for us, for people to come and listen.
Next, we're on to departmental reports. Pardon?
Are the topics listed in item 19, the topics that you would,
Oh,
like to hear about? Are there any others or any of these that you don't?
You've got the ones that we kind of went through on the other list, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So do y'all want it on July 10th or 11th? 11th is a regular council meeting. 10th is the Monday before that.
The 10th, because we're running a little long to go to the council.
That'd be before.
Yeah, my challenge is I travel, so I'm committed to being here for the city council meetings in person, so I'm always going to put in towards getting in here in person on those days. Obviously, I would prefer to group those.
That is,
I think the 10th, we're going to have a regular council meeting. I think this workshop should be on the 10th. Anyone have any?
I think to have it on the same time as the council meeting. We have a very long one tonight. I think if you would have a workshop on the regular council meeting, we could be here on our own. So I think the 10th on a separate night would give us more, and perhaps you could Skype it.
Might have to start, yeah.
Yeah, but to me, having them both on one night would be too much.
Anyone care to make a motion, Mr. Patterson?
I make a motion that we have an older workshop that we schedule on July the 10th for city council to cover training, orientation on employment laws, open meeting activity session, planning and zoning, involvement in citations, and determine other topics council would like to cover in this workshop.
That'd be 30.
Uh, 6 at the community center.
The deadline on which we have a topic we like to submit that by. We want to press you guys to try to scramble information last week.
Yeah, I would like to add that to my notes.
Yeah, you have to say it all.
We're gonna get it all in there, and it's already been second.
Truly, a lot of this.
How about Friday, June 30th? As a deadline to add topics?
I'll add that to my motion also.
Thank you.
All right, and we have an automatic second, you're seconding everything. All right, all in favor, or is there any more discussion? Seeing no hands? No. Okay. All right, it is unanimous. All right, perfect. Okay, now we can move on to departmental reports.
Jennifer?
Mayor and council, for the administrative department for the month of May, we answered 917 calls in 22 operating days, responded to 13 requests for public records, 10 general inquiries submitted via the website. We filed the Georgetown Village Phase 3 plat. We accepted 1 zoning text amendment, and at the suggestion of the auditor, we fully implemented an electronic bank reconciliation system for the city's 20-plus bank accounts. We issued 1 commercial permit for mechanical, electrical, sign demolition, sort of a miscellaneous category. We accepted 4 certificate of occupancy permit applications, 12 residential permits for plumbing, re-roofing, foundation repair, fencing, or an accessory structure, another sort of miscellaneous category, for a total of 17 permits. We issued 0 single-family residential new construction permits in May. However, thus far, 13 days into June, we have issued 34 single-family residential new construction permits. We have 20 single-family new construction residential permits. I don't know, it's all getting mixed up. Currently in review with our plan reviewers. So if you want to do the math, we have 55 lots in Georgetown Village Phase 2. D.R. Horton has been released to start construction on 22. They have submitted the permits for review for 20, so we have 13 more to permit. And we have one new construction permit in review for commercial. And we also have one commercial remodel permit that has been reviewed and approved and is sitting at City Hall waiting for release. We accepted and entered 21 new utility accounts. One utility account transfer, 15 utility account disconnections, and 7 payment extensions, and 1 leak adjustment request. We processed 79 purchase orders and issued 67 general fund checks, 30 water fund checks, 3 court technology fund checks, 1 court security check, 1 S&N Enterprises fund check, 1 debt service fund check, 5 insurance trust fund checks for a total of 108 checks. And the Planning and Zoning Commission will meet here on June 21st at 6:30. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief Barnes?
Mayor and Council, Police Department training hours for the month of May, 108 training hours. We had 64 incident reports. We answered 1,350 calls for service. Number of 911 calls to communications was 150. Dispatched calls for service was 1,435. Training hours for communication was 31. Total phone calls received was approximately 3,718. Open records request for report was 27. Training hours for court was 4, and they closed 323 cases.
Mayor and Council, the Fire Department report, there were 98 911 emergency calls. There were 31 non-emergency transports for a total of 129. Fire calls, there were 3 structure fires, 2 vehicle fires, 5 grass fires, 4 miscellaneous, 1 vehicle accident, 3 mutual aid responses to Howe, 1 mutual aid to Whitewright, 2 fire alarm calls, 1 unauthorized burn, 1 siren test, and 1 fire inspection for a total of 24. Overall total calls were 153. Lynn, do you have anything for Steve?
I'll let Steve go.
Okay. Steve White?
Honorable Council, Mayor. Public Works crews set and replaced 50 meters this last month. Crews repaired 7 leaks, 4 of them were major leaks. It took, set for over 200,000 gallons on some couple of them. We had 7 after-hours sewer calls. Crews responded to 5 animal calls. Well 5 is up and operational. And then well 6 is near completion of upgrades for taking the CGMA water. City wastewater plant has just completed an in-depth inspection by TCEQ with no violations. Crews are working right now on locating water and sewer mains for the new elementary school as of today. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Lynn, do you have anything? Go ahead.
Steve, do you have any idea how long, how much longer it might take to get the well 6 up where we can bring in that water, pipeline water again?
Well, as you know, when well 5 went down, we could make an emergency
Right.
and do that. The SCADA and the disinfection people are scheduled to be here Friday to put the final touches on it, so we could possibly be doing it by Saturday if needed.
All right.
We want to.
And this is just the first phase of well 6, because we're eventually going to bring well 6 back online and blend water there.
Yeah, so it'll have groundwater and surface water in the tanks as we go forward with the disinfectant project.
So 6 went down.
It's been down since 25.
It's
2012,
not something
yeah.
recent.
Before
Because I
most-
noticed something recent with the water, and I was trying to
Well,
keep up with your conversation.
We only have one well running, and it was only producing 140,000 gallons a minute. 140,000 per day. And we take quite a bit more than that, so we have to supplement it with well 6 to get well 5 up front.
What else you got, Lynn?
The grinder pump out at the wastewater treatment plant is, contractor's on site, and he's waiting for delivery of the actual pump, so that work will start shortly. Palladium is in the final stages of their civil. They're working on the drainage. You've seen the boggy lake they've got out there to the east of the developed site. That's their detention pond. They are working on getting all that in final form so they can do that. Steve tells me that they're ready to set their meters, which means that inside plumbing and everything is finally out, so that should come quickly. As Jennifer mentioned, we filed a plat on Georgetown Village 3, which is the Horton tract. We did the final inspection, we got all the bonds, they're cleared, they were cleared to go, and we're ready to do that. And then we've got miscellaneous, we approved the annexation for the Raywood things coming up, and then the development around the new elementary school is floating around. And we've been through several iterations trying to get streets and the school taken care of, so we're working on all that. And then with the approval of the Dallas Street contract tonight, the water line where it stopped at Houston Street will be extended up to Shreveport, and the sewer from Shreveport will go back down towards Austin and down the ditch. So.
Very good, thank you. Judy Kimsey?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Over 2,000 people came through our doors in Memphis County, and included 6 new patients and we circulated 2,073 items. We did 16 children's programs attended by 145 children and 78 adults, and 4 young adult meetings and 49 students attended. Thursday, May 4th, the Friends of the Library met 15 members in attendance. The mural in our young adult section began on May 4th, and we just progressing nicely. She was completed by the nuts and by the family from the city schools. Our young adult specialist Jordan and 2 teams traveled to the crisis center in Sherman on May 10th for a literacy outreach. 15 children participated in craft, storytelling, and received a free book. Our summer reading programs kicked off this last Monday, and here in the community center, we started with a record-breaking crowd of over 200 people. Programs continue throughout the summer, and we encourage everyone to come and have fun with us, and above all, to read. We have a big family event every Monday here in the community center at 2:30 for program details. You can visit our city website or visit our library Facebook. Also a reminder that the Friends of the Library hosts their monthly breakfast every first Saturday, will be July 1st, here at the community center, 7 a.m. to 5 hours.
Thank you, Judy. Mayor and Council, City Manager report for the month of May. Received 1,693 emails. Met with the auditor regarding the draft document. Attended the Wilson & Jones Employees Service Recognition Celebration. Attended 8 hours of City Manager training. Attended Planning and Zoning meeting, City Council meeting. Worked with the Chamber regarding music and park application. Meetings with developers. Attended the website meeting. Benefit committee meeting. Attended EMS building teleconference. Also had the 5-year anniversary of City Manager. Communicated with Gateway Planning regarding kickoff meeting and schedule. Visited with accountant regarding the auditor's comments. Met with the VAISD superintendent. Reviewed Dallas Shreveport water and sewer line with engineering and public works director. Attended welcoming for LaCour Enterprises. Attended CDC meeting. Reviewed preliminary budget submittals from directors. Palladium is putting the exterior facade on the structures. Now I'm getting into the permits that Jennifer already described. Stonehall's office is progressing. 1873 Market is progressing. Attended the North Texas Central, Friday, attending the North Central Texas Council of Governments General Assembly in Hurst. Friday to witness the mayor receive the Regional Cooperation Award. Don Pascal, our Collin Grayson Municipal Alliance facilitator, nominated the CGMA, which is what Collin Grayson Municipal Alliance stands for, which is Anna, Hal, Melissa, and Van Alstyne for the North Central Texas Council of Governments NCT COG Award. The 4 cities cooperate on the water coming up from the North Texas Municipal Water District through McKinney. Next week I'll be at the Texas City Managers Conference in Austin, and a reminder that the Gateway Planning Kickoff meeting on June 22nd, City Council, Planning and Zoning, Community Development Board, Economic Development Board, and Lynn, as well as Scott Polikoff and Kelsey will be hosting and facilitating the whole discussion. So, thank you.
The reason I was interested in when we might get the water coming up in the south and when we may start mixing it again is because once that happens, once again, that's surface water, it's reservoir water, and it's water is once again going to get a little harder. It's going to taste a little different.
Salt. Yes, sir. Well water harder. Yeah, well water harder.
Well, I heard that exactly about
No, I think you're right, Mayor.
Well, anyway, things are going to change. Once we start using that water, we're probably going to do that forever. I mean, our well system never going to produce enough water for the city, so we're going to rely on it. Otherwise, tonight, I want to thank you all for attending and sitting through the meeting. Here and Council President, so I'm making mine, and now we'll start with my left. Scroll, comments.
No. Did not, that wasn't enough?
I'm good.
Just want to say, got a change of breakfast in the morning, thank you, o'clock at the Welcome Center. U.S. Insurance Advisors is the program, so everybody's welcome. Oh, well, yeah. That's it. Brown Bag Lunch at Grayson College, Players program. We also hang out Tuesday, Tuesdays at 7, using it in park, water and and take some rain or whatever. Good to do this time.
I have some comments. One of mine is that in the future, I hope we can have open government and one that listens to the needs of the people. And I would like for Alstyne to be known as a city that provides the best possible service to the public. I think this is very important. I also think being a city council member is important to listen to the people. I do have one recommendation that I'm hoping that the city will adopt, and that is in the future when we have a closed session, that we go next door to the fire department and the audience does not have to leave this room. That you may stay here and we leave. I think, as we have told you, we are going to be meeting and have interviews, and it's going to concern the Central Business District and the industrial park. And I think it's very important that we have input from the people, and to me, what involves this the most is the businesses that are in the Central Business District. We will talk about, are we going to work toward moving the city entities out of downtown? As you know, the mayor has had this in his newsletter and has asked for comments. So I have conducted a survey. I have visited 31 businesses in the Alstyne Central Business District. Of those 31 businesses, 29 are of the opinion that the city entity should stay in the Central Business District because it not only shows support to the businesses, but it does help to bring more people down there when we are struggling. I had 2 that thought it should be moved elsewhere. And by the city entities, the first thing I read was it was going to be all of the city entities, and I assume that's how that is stayed. And I will be sharing the list of the businesses and their opinions with the other council members. And the last statement, and I hope that we will have access to any comments that you have received from your newsletter, and you can share it with the rest of the council. My final statement, and I have had it approved by our city attorney, because I want to make sure that what I say is correct. But I have been asked a lot of questions on May 19th, 22nd, and 7th. And on June the 9th, I received a reply from the city attorney. That was the Friday after the agenda had been posted. And the city attorney has recommended that this be first discussed in executive session before council can make a decision and share it with the public. So by next month, I will have an answer to the questions that I have been asked regarding the EBC and the questions of what they have spent on the bicycle path and the shared use path or anything. So those are my closing comments. Thank you.
I just wanted to, real quick, and a lot of them left. I want to express my appreciation to all the small business owners here in the city. Without them, we wouldn't have simple business district downtown that we would be proud of. Robert Horn, Sue Lynn, your nonsense ranch. Oh, sorry.
I just support you.
Okay, and, let's see, Murphy. Yes, and I'm trying to see, we had some more that were here.
Does anyone else know?
Yes, if there's anybody else, I want to express my appreciation. I think I speak on behalf of the council and the city. We appreciate everyone at the meeting. It's very important.
I'm not sure with all the discussion that we had in the open meeting, I don't know if we have anything left for an executive session this evening. Okay. Well, in that case then, we're going to adjourn. Well, I'll call for a motion.
Go into recess to go into executive.
Yes, we're going to recess and go into executive session. But all right.
I'll second.
All in favor? And the time is 9:57, and I expect it will be an executive session at 10:05. All right.
Hey, we're all going.
The news is reporting that you choose the way you choose citation.
All right, so the time is 10:41 p.m. and we're going to reconvene the regular session. And I think we talked about the purchase of some property back in executive session, and I think we're ready to take a vote on that. And so, anyone care to make a motion? All right, we have a motion to purchase the property. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor? We have 2 in favor, all opposed. All right, we have 3 opposed, so the motion to purchase the property fails.
On Kelly Lane.
On Kelly Lane.
The motion to purchase the property on Kelly Lane from the First Baptist Church has failed.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second it.
I've heard that.
All in favor? All right, so we are adjourning the regular session at 10:42 p.m. The regular session adjourns.
Zip, zip.